test this out. Alright, testing my microphone out. See how this is. Does this seem a little low? I'm not sure, but the volume seems a little low to me. Okay. Let's see. Let's mute that. I'm just checking the microphone right now, and then making sure this is working. And then we continue, and we'll do Madoka's route. So we did Akane's route last time. And for Akane's route, I don't know if we got the good ending or if we got the normal ending. I'm really not sure about that, to be honest. I'm gonna assume the good ending, even though the ending seemed kind of normal. My microphone seems kind of low right now. Let's see. Just testing this out. Alright, I'm gonna adjust the microphone a bit. Alright, see how that is. Okay, I think that's okay. I think the audio is okay. Okay, so I adjusted the microphone volume a bit. I hope it's okay. So we are going to be playing Madoka's route today, which will be nice. I'm going to try to go for the good ending, of course. Yeah, for Akane's route, I'm not sure if we got the good ending or if we got the normal ending. I'm really not too sure about that. But anyways, we are going to do Madoka's route. Also, I will say, let's see. Let me adjust the model. So I will say hi, thank you for coming to the stream. I didn't mean to put that face. But anyways, here's my model. Quick little show off. The art, the rigging, the live 2D animations are all by me. Here's every expression with a crying animation that I made so it can literally just go forever. And I can combine it with a waving animation and all the expressions. And I can get rid of everything at... what was the hotkey? There it is. The drop of a dime. So, yeah. Anyways, let's enable the wings, and we are going to be playing this in English. So, yeah. I also did finish a manga. It's not, it's my own personal manga. I'm going to talk about it just quickly before we start. I did finish it. Well, I didn't finish it. I finished the rough of it, because there was a contest that accepted... it was a manga making contest, and they said it's okay if there's just the rough of it is finished. So I'm like, okay, I can finish the rough of it. I tried to make it very trailer-esque and stuff. I'll link it down below probably. It's not done. It's because I had my original idea for a one-shot, but I was not going to be able to finish even the rough of that in time, so I did a different one which is more like a trailer-esque type of one, kind of for that. So yeah, however, for some reason it didn't show up in the contest tag when I put it, so I messaged Metabang about that, because it's Art Street contest, because their site was glitching and for some reason it didn't show up. So I messaged them about that, and I'm trying to get that resolved, so that way my thing's actually in the contest. So I kind of want to share the manga. It's a one-shot chapter, but it's very short. It's not the original one-shot I was going to do. It's just a rough, because the lines are rough, and also I tried to make it like a trailer-esque type of almost preview of the upcoming one shot I'm going to do and expand. So yeah, I want to link it, but also because I just have the rough for it done, and I'll probably do the shading this week. Hopefully I can get it done this week, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not a professional manga artist. I'm like amateur manga artist, but I believe as an illustrator I am professional. But I am trying to do like manga or graphic novels. By graphic novels, I mean like light novels with like a few illustrations here and there. I don't consider mangas or comics to be graphic novels. Anyways, so I might link that below, or I might wait until I do the full shading of it, because while I'm happy to share it, because most of it is just the rough lines being done, because that's all I could get done in time, but they thankfully are supposed to accept it according to their own rule set for the contest. Yeah, I kind of want to wait till I fully shade it. I will be posting a drawing. I did a full illustration in it that I've expanded a little and tweaked a little outside of it. So there's like one version of it included with that little manga I did, and then there's another version of it that I actually tweaked a bit to make it a little nicer, and that I'll be posting separately, and that will eventually be on my website for sale as a poster. So you can check out my links below. My website is up and running, and everything is good for it. It's funny because at first, like, the product pages were not showing up properly, so I had to put it in maintenance mode. And then yesterday I went to go to work on it to fix it, right? But it was just working, and I was just like, okay, thank God for that. Like, I don't have to do anything to fix it. It just, like, smoothed over, so that's great. Well, also I switched to a new hosting provider, because the old one was, like, deluxe hosting or something, and they were garbage. Crap. Like, really, it was just so slow. It was just so slow. The website was so slow. Even before it was fully made, it was just horribly slow. Now with this new host provider I'm with, I forgot their name. I can't remember what their name is, which I should know, but I forgot. Like, the website's actually smooth now, or at least a lot smoother. Because before it would literally take like almost a minute, or not a minute, but like 20-30 seconds for like some pages to load, and the administration part of it was like really slow. Even when I didn't have any products, it was still slow. But now this new host provider, it's way faster and smoother with them. But I can't remember the name of the host provider. But anyways, so let's continue Madoka's route. Last time I was going to do Madoka's route, but I went with Akane's route because like Akane was carrying some stuff. And I was like, you know, I feel bad if I just leave her to do it by herself, right? So I'm like, okay, let's help her, because if I didn't, I would have felt bad about that. But yeah, so we did Akane's route. So today we are going to do Madoka's route. I don't know if we'll do it fully. Probably yes. So yeah. Oh, also, like a fun little update thing before we start. Next Saturday, like the Saturday coming up, I am going to like a anime orchestra thing, which is gonna be awesome. Like, I'm attending it as a customer, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. I got discounted tickets too, because I went to like Anime North, and apparently anyone who went there got discounted tickets for it, limited amounts. So I'm gonna be going there with a few friends. So that's going to be cool. And it's cool going with a few people. It's always more fun to go with people. Though I don't mind going by myself. If no one wanted to go, I would probably just go by myself. But that would not be as fun. Sorry, I took a drink. Anyways, so to continue Madoka's route, where were we? We were... Was it here? Or was it here? It was a day 2 thing, right? I'm trying to remember, where do we continue for Madoka's route? Was it here? Okay, so we'll go with call Madoka. I feel bad about that because Akane is like... Originally, I was going to do Madoka's route, but because of like Akane was like carrying a lot of stuff and like struggling with it, I'm like, okay, I'd feel bad leaving her to carry all those things. So I'm like, okay, let's help her out. But this time, it's like, I'm sorry, but this time we're doing Madoka's route. I already did your route. Although it pains me a little to ditch the struggling Akane, I decided to call Madoka as I had originally intended. Both hands weighed down with bags, Kane walks off in the direction of Asahiya with her head slightly bowed. I mean, she said she was fine with it, but still. I still feel bad. It's like it should help. Watching Akane disappear in the distance, I put my ear to the ringing cell phone. Hello? Is that Ariel? I'm so happy to hear from you so soon. Sorry to call so suddenly. I was wondering if you're free, if you could teach me about Japan today. So this is Kyoto. I like this visual novel. I'll do like a review after, like about Akane's route and Madoka's route. I'm not using the Japanese. We're not using this for learning Japanese because my Japanese level is probably, I would say my reading is between novice and intermediate. And my listening is probably the same, if not slightly behind my reading. My speaking, though, I think is only novice because I need to practice speaking. The problem with practicing to speak is you need, like, people to talk to. It's like, damn it, I don't know anyone who, like, speaks or is learning Japanese, you know? At the very least, what I try to do is when I listen to stuff, and sometimes when I listen to the stuff, I usually just, well, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, never mind. I thought I was gonna like sneeze, but I decided not to. I had to mute the mic there. When I sneeze, this is like a tangent, but when I sneeze, it's like crazy loud. I remember, like I was playing a game, with a few people I used to be friends with, and I sneezed one time, right? And one of them was like, what the freak was that? Because it was like a zombie game, right? And they're like, what the freak was that? That sounded like a monster in the game. The hell? Like when I sneeze, for some reason, it's like loud and it's aggressive. It's like, the way I sneeze is like the freaking Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Just just coming up. Like, it's crazy. Anyways, that's a tangent. So, never minding that. What was I saying? I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, we're not using it to study Japanese because I need furigana. I can't read this. Like, I don't know what this word, this is like the kanji for map, I think. I think the reading for that is zoo, but when it's repeated, that's the repeater. I don't know how to read it. Is it zuzu or is that supposed to be chiji or something? I don't know. Shuku denwa, denwa's phone, shichate gomene. Madoka no. I can't read well without furigana. I'm not at a level where I can read without it. Madoka no, but I'm trying just this one little thing. Madoka no I know this kanji here, but I can't remember how to read it. I think it means part. Madoka no buasae yokereba Kyo Nihon ni suite oshiete moraeru kana. Okay, the last sentence I know perfectly. The rest of it, it has a few kanji that I know. And I believe I know the the meanings of them, but I'm not too sure about the reading. I need furigana, but yeah. I was gonna stream Yotsuba tonight, but it's too much to do a double stream, so we're gonna stream it tomorrow. Cause that one illustration I mentioned that I did in that like manga work in progress, I decided to do a different thing and to expand it a little bit. And I'm gonna post that tomorrow, so it'll be a little different than the full illustration I did, including in the manga. I might link it below. I don't know if I will, only because I submitted it for that contest, and the contest said if you only have the rough done, that's fine. So I did that, and they had an illustration portion. The illustration I did fully, but again, I'm just doing it a little expanded to be a little different. So a slightly different version for my website, which I will sell as a poster. All posters, by the way, on my website, all clothing, all merchandise is made by me myself. Like, I draw everything, I make the posters, metal posters, prints, the t-shirts, sweaters, I do everything myself, right? It's all done by me. Mouse pads, pillowcases, I even do custom orders. It's all by me. So shameless self-promo there. But yeah. So I think I'll probably link it once I'm done the shading for the parts that are still rough for it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And I should get that all done this week. Probably this week. It might go into next week though. Because it's a short one-shot, and I made it like a one-shot chapter, and it's just like a trailer-esque style of manga. I tried to make it for an upcoming one-shot and further story. So it's like a one-shot trailer of a one-shot and a bigger story at large. Which is funny. That idea itself. A one-shot chapter, by the way, for anyone who does not know, is a self-contained story that is one chapter long. Usually ranging from 20 to 100 pages. It's very short story. But again, what I did is not a self-contained story. It's more like a trailer-esque to build hype for my upcoming one-shot and the further story. So I really want to link it below, but I want to do the shading first. But yeah, hopefully it's accepted in the contest, because Metabang, their art street website, was glitching, and I messaged them about it. So hopefully they correct that so it's included in the contest, because I submitted it on time, but their thing was just glitching. So it's not showing up in the tag with the tag of the contest. Hopefully they fix that. Hopefully they do. Anyways, let's go with this. I don't know how long this will take. We'll try finish it today. If we don't, then sometime next week we will. Either way, tomorrow, Yotsuba, we are going to be streaming it. We're going to read it. It's going to be a Japanese study along, and also a little bit of me trying to teach Japanese with it. Yotsuba, I'm just going to say, is a great manga. It's aimed not at beginners. It's more beginners can attempt it, but it's more for novice to intermediate, like high novice to low intermediate. So we will be going through that. Check out my other streams of it on the channel. I have to put it in a playlist. Anyways, big tangents. Big tangents. Oh man. Anyways. Oh, by the way, again, I'm going to mention my live 2D model here is art, rigging, animations, crying animation, waving animation. Everything is done by me, right? I do all of that stuff. So I have commissions open. I have my website open for anyone who wants custom orders. mouse pads, pillowcases, prints, metal posters. I do live 2D. I do illustrations. I do live 2D models and rigging, including animations for it in live 2D. So I have all of that open. Just send me an email or check out my website for the merch. Tons of shameless self-promo here today. Look at that. Tons of it. Anyways, we're 20 minutes in and we're gonna finally really start the stream. So, of course, where shall we meet today? There are a lot of people out and about today, so how about in a cafe? That might be a good idea actually, but I don't really know any cafes. Is there anywhere that would be easy for me to find? There's a place called Kyoto. How about we meet there? After thinking for a moment, MADOKA tells me the name of an unfamiliar store. It's an eye-catching cafe with a red roof near to where I met you yesterday. I think you should probably be able to find it. Probably. I think you should probably be able to find it. A cafe with a red roof? Okay. For the time being, I'll set off for the area I met you yesterday. Okay, if you get lost, call me again and I'll come and find you. It's like, don't worry, I have the power of like Google Maps. The power and wisdom of Google Maps in my hands. And Google's a horrible company, but... Nonetheless, the joke goes. Got it. If it has a red roof, I think I'll be able to spot it. But if I can't find it, I'll call you. The red roof, and then it turns out you're in like some like Christmas inspired town. It's like, oh my gosh, they're all red and green. Having decided on our meeting place, I set off for the cafe where MADOKA will be waiting for me. I really hope that the microphone audio is okay. If it's not, someone let me know. If there's anyone, I don't know, but whatever. If not, then not. Just like pray for the best, I guess. About 15 minutes later, I finally arrive at the cafe where I'm meeting with MADOKA. From the entrance, I see her waving to me from a table, and I wave back as I head over and sit down in the seat opposite her. Oh, she looks nice. Is that a ring on her necklace, or is that just... I can't tell if that's a ring or not, but anyways. I like the ribbon in her hair. It's like red. It like goes really well with the green here. I like the color design. It's nice. As an artist, illustrator, I noticed this. The green here with the red ribbon and the blue dress, it all complements well. It's nice. Please don't worry about it. You're new to Japan and the streets of Kyoto are especially complicated. They sure are. I heard there's a song to help remember the streets. I think it starts with Karasuma Dori or something. Oh my gosh, Cancer Romanji. I actually understand most of what she's saying. Like in the Japanese. The problem is, like, I need Furigana to read it. Furigana is like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's Japanese kanji. It's the Japanese words, but for the kanji, it shows the hiragana reading above it in like subscript. I would say my reading for Japanese is close to intermediate level. I don't think it's at intermediate. I think it's close. Very close. My listening is like a little lower, probably high tier novice, I think. And then my speaking is like maybe mid tier novice, because I don't have anyone to speak to practice, right? So, but at the very least, when I listen, oh, this is what I wanted to mention earlier. When I listen to Japanese, I do it like with what I used to study. So sometimes there's context sentences and they read it out. I also will sometimes listen to ASMR. Like I like ASMR, and I tried to just go for like Japanese ASMR. So I listen to that. And yeah. But the best listening practice is going to be combined with speaking practice. Absolutely. But it's good to do listening. If I watch an anime, I listen to it. Maybe I'll try repeat lines as well. Though I haven't watched an anime episode in like a few weeks. It's been a good couple weeks since I watched even a single episode. But that's because I've been like so busy. If even you, a Japanese person, says that, then I have no chance. But you know, perhaps you could teach it to me sometime. That song, この歌、教えてください。お願いします. Of course, I enjoy such things too. She smiles softly as she says it. How do you say smile softly? Like yasashi nikori? I think that's like a soft smile or something. I think it's a nikori. Yasashi or yasashi nikori would be a kind smile. Anyways. この店ね、どうですか? What do you think of this cafe? I understand like what she's saying. It's just I can't read, and it's annoying me because I'm like, damn, I want to like read without furigana, but I'm not at a level where I can. I think to read without furigana, you need to be at least like mid-tier intermediate, I think, which I don't think I'm far off from. I think I can hit mid-tier intermediate probably within the next few months. Because right now I think I'm like high novice, maybe encroaching to low intermediate. So I think I can hit mid to high intermediate in the next, I don't know about 2 or not 3 months, but maybe 5. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Seems reasonable to me. I look around the interior of my seat. Now that she mentions it, I realize that it's a wooden building unlike anything I've seen in my own country. Both the design and the scent of wood emphasize its Japanese aesthetic. Yeah, it's really Japanese. It's like it emphasizes the Japanese aesthetic. It's like, yeah, it's really Japanese. Well, yeah. What the hell? I like it. Since coming to Kyoto, I'm constantly surprised by how different everything is to my own country. Yokatta. There are a few other recognizable cafes, but I thought you would like this one. Huh? You chose this place especially for me? Hi. Okay, before reading, I wanted to just hear what she said. And I understood like 90... I would say almost 95% of that sentence she said I understood. But whatever, we're just going to do the English for this visual novel. Tomorrow we'll read the Yotsuba manga. Also, I'm just mentioning it, but next week or this week, I guess. This week, I guess. Okay, whatever. This week I want to put out a video of how to learn Japanese or any language. It's the same structure. So I'm going to put that out. There'll be 2 videos. A longer one, which will be like 5 to 10 minutes. It'll be between that. And the shorter one, which will be 1 minute long only, and that will be focused more on Japanese, and free resources you can use to learn Japanese. Mind you, the free resources do have their flaws, but I will talk about that. Free things you can use, paid things you can use in the longer video, and the benefits of them and the drawbacks of them, right? And I'll also talk about what I use and how to really learn any language. Now, for Japanese, I am only like high tier novice to maybe I could say low tier intermediate, at least for reading and listening. For speaking, a little less, because I don't have anyone to practice with. So I'm mostly just repeating out loud what I listen to. But learning any language, the structure is the same, right? Like I went to learn Greek a few years ago. I dropped it just because of like being too busy and other just personal stuff. But I taught myself to read like modern Greek and biblical Greek like in 2 months to read it. Literally to the point where I read it in public and people who were Greek were surprised when I told them I'm not Greek. Right? They were very shocked. I couldn't understand a good portion of what I was reading, but I read it fluently and I sounded like native in my reading, right? But learning any language, it's the same the foundational fundamental structure for learning any language is always the same. It's reading, it's speaking, and it's listening. Those are the three things, the three pillars. Anything and everything revolves around and augments those. Again, I will put out a video probably closer to the weekend. There'll be 2 videos, a longer one about how to go about learning a language. It'll be 5 to 10 minutes long, and including free and paid resources you can use to learn a language, more specifically to Japanese though. And then there will be like a YouTube short that just focuses on, that glosses over how to learn a language and just gives like free resources. So yeah. Of course the longer one will talk about the free resources and stuff, because the free resources that I will talk about are good, but they have their flaws. Like they're good. They're good, and I do actually use them to supplement my reading, listening, and the speaking I'm going to be doing. But they're flawed. For sure. But yeah, that video will come out, what's today? Sunday, so probably by the weekend, so before Saturday. So I'll probably put those 2 videos out Thursday or Friday. I would put them out like tomorrow or Tuesday, but I actually want to do like, I want to attempt to do some nice editing for it. So that's why I'm going to push it an extra couple days, you know, to the Thursday or Friday. Because I want to try to do like a nice edit for it. Though I'm not an editor, I want to like try to make it look a little bit nice. Anyways, I also might do like a little chibi drawing or something, original character, just to put in the video too. Why not? We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, let's continue this. I go on so many tangents. But I wanted to talk about this stuff before I forget about it, that's all. Anyways, since all she'd agreed to was teaching me about Japan, even a fast food joint would have been fine with me. So I guess this means she took the time to look for a place like this especially for me? Wait, to say I've just met her, I'm definitely overthinking this. I force my mind, which is trying to wander off down a crazy route, back to Madoka. Do itashimashite. Soyeba, oshigoto do desu ka? Oshigoto wa do desu ka? It's like, how's your job hunt going? Unfortunately, not well. But I'm thinking that I need to be patient and take my time. So nan desu ka? So the truth is I'm also looking for work here in Kyoto. So I'm in the same boat. Huh? You're looking for work in Kyoto too? Yes. Ever since I saw them in a movie as a child, I dreamed of becoming a maiko. A maiko. I can't... what is a maiko? I've heard that word before, but I forget what it is. A maiko is not it's not the shrine maiden, right? Maiko or Meiko? How do you say it in Japanese? Let me see it. Kodomo no koro ni mita egao. I can't read that word. Yume ga atte. Talked about how it's her dream to become a... I guess this is like a maika. I can't read the kanji though. Here. I could at least read most of that, even without the furigana, surprisingly. That's impossible now at my age, but I left Tokyo because I wanted to work in Kyoto, where the maiko are. Oh, really? Oh, so nan desu ka? So desu ka? Coming to Kyoto because she fell in love with it from a movie. I guess Madoka has a slightly childish side to her. Kodomo poi ne. A smile naturally spreads across my face at the thought. Douka shimashita ka? Oh, what is it? Did something happen? What's going on? Nah, it's nothing. But you know, it's kind of a shame. I think you would have suited being a maiko. What is a maiko again? Let me actually just look this up. I can't remember what it is. A maiko is an apprentice geisha. Okay. Geisha. Okay, that's what a maiko is. I've heard of geisha, but I did not know, or actual, I forgot that a maiko is like an apprentice one. Okay, that's cool, actually. Let's see. Watch they like explain it right after I looked it up. Really? I'm happy to hear that, even if it's not true. I wasn't lying when I said it, but maybe this is the so-called Japanese way of flattery. Oh, I'm not lying, Madoka. Uso janai ne. Madoka-chan. I said it because I really think you'd look good. I say it forcefully, wanting her to believe me, and Madoka smiles happily, her cheeks flushed. Hehe. Arigatou gozaimasu. It's interesting that she says arigato, whereas Akane would say okini, which is, but I guess that makes sense because Madoka's from Tokyo, and arigato's the standard way of saying thank you, but okini is the Kyoto dialect, and Akane is from Kyoto. But never mind a foreigner like me. If even you can't find work, Japan must be in a worse economic state than I thought. Like, damn. Damn, don. Cue the tears. Okay, end that stuff. Oops, I accidentally got rid of the wings. Put those back. Yeah. It's true that we're in a slump compared to the past, but there's another reason I haven't been able to find work. As she mumbles, she casts a glance out the window. Madoka, what's wrong? I follow her gaze outside. Hordes of sightseers and residents flow past the window in an unbroken stream. Nothing. I just wondered if there was something outside. Yeah, nandemo arimasen yo. Nandemo arimasen. Exists nothing there. There's nothing. Really? Well, if you say so. Oh right, this is for you. It's a guidebook I brought with me when I moved from Tokyo. It tells you about lots of little known places, so I highly recommend it. In the moment she looked out the window, I could have sworn Madoka's expression clouded over, but perhaps it was just my imagination. Perhaps. Well, we've only known each other for a few days, so there's still a lot I don't know about her. As I think I take the guidebook from her. The first entries are for Kiyomizu Dera and Fushimi na Ritaisha. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. My friends and I always really wanted to see the autumn leaves at Kiyomizu Dera. They're supposed to be beautiful. And the Fushimi Inari Taisha has all those torii gates. Kyoto has so many amazing places where the Japan of the past still remains. That's cool. Yeah, Kyoto is supposed to be more traditional. I want to go to Japan. I'm not really interested in going to Tokyo. I know most people want to go to Tokyo and Akihabara and stuff, and I don't really care to do that. I want to go, but I want to go to Kyoto because it's more traditional, so I can really see more of the culture and everything. I want to go to Kyoto. I want to go to Hokkaido. I want to visit the Fox Village. I want to visit. I think there might be a cat village or something. I want to go there. Yeah. Mount Fuji as well. I want to see more of the traditional places and the more rural areas, because I think it'd just be a lot prettier. I'm not that interested in going to Tokyo, to be honest. Though I think I would enjoy it. It'd be cool to see Tokyo Tower and the overpriced Akihabara and stuff. But I'm not really that interested in Tokyo. It's probably the part of Japan I'm least interested in visiting. Hey, you sound awfully keen. I've already had my use from that guidebook, so I'll give it to you. Huh? Are you sure? Of course. If there's anything in it that you want to visit, I'll be happy to accompany you. Is she trying to get a job as a tour guide now? Thank you. Then, as thanks, at least let me get your coffee for you. Eh? Demo. It's fine. I'm sure I'm going to be much obliged to you in the future, so I want to be able to show my appreciation. Madoka gives in with a smile. それでは今回 is this time. I actually understand most of what she's saying. I need to improve my Japanese so I can read without furigana though. I want to read I have a few. Well, I'll talk about it in the future. We're gonna do Yotsuba, and then there's a few more mangas I want to do as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, thanks. Oh, but if you're job hunting too, then I probably shouldn't waste your time too much, should I? Again, I just want to mention 5:45 p.m. tomorrow, around that. We are going to do a Japanese stream, a study along stream with the manga Yotsuba. So it's going to be a study part review for me. Because I tried to read ahead of the stream a bit, a couple days before, for whatever we're going to look at. Just so the stream goes smoother, and that way I get extra study and it's more review, and then also I can more efficiently try to teach whatever stuff, even though I don't have a talent for teaching. But Still study. Anyways, continuing. I keep getting distracted. She giggles slightly. Right then, she's the very picture of Japan's ideal woman, the Yamato Nadeshiko. I don't know who that is, but I think I've heard the name. I've heard the name, but I don't know who that is. Yeah, well, we're like job hunting buddies. Eh? So, desu ne. Then, whenever one of us finds something, we'll have to celebrate. We'll have to celebrate. I hope we'll both be able to celebrate together. Alright then, I'll take this guidebook with me. Sightseeing sounds nice and all, but I've also got to find a job. Alright, I'll search around a bit after I part ways with Madoka. At Madoka's recommendation, I enjoy some sweets as I distractedly think over my plans for the afternoon. Well now, whatever's the matter? You look quite glum. While I'm thinking about my afternoon plans over lunch, Ken comes in carrying a tray. Oh, Ken, sorry. You came to check on me even though you're busy with work, didn't you? Are you here to clear up the plates? I'll help. Ken is the main dude's grandfather's friend, like an old friend of his granddad. I am, but I was also about to take a break. Is this your first time drinking matcha tea? I heard it's a much more bitter version of green tea, so much so that you have to drink it together with sweets, right? Haha, it's not that bitter. It might be a bit much if you're not used to it, but if you temper it with the sweets, it creates a nice bittersweet flavor. We actually looked at this part of the dialogue in Akane's route, so I might skip this a bit, just because we're looking at it again and dude's going philosophical. He's like, life is like matcha tea. Sometimes it's bitter, sometimes it's sweet, sometimes you get sweet stuff with it. He's like the Japanese. His Japanese, what's that dude's name? Nishi? That philosopher. I think he was German. I don't know. Nietzsche. Japanese Nietzsche mode activated. Japanese Socrates, Japanese Plato mode has activated. Plus 10 to all speech skills. Anyways, because we already looked at this part in Nakane's route, I'm going to skip a little. He's encouraging him. It's like, oh, why are you like stuffed up? You should go out, sightsee, do some stuff. Akane and Madoka. Oh my gosh, another route. What should I do? We'll invite Madoka because we're doing Madoka's route. Then maybe I'll go out with Madoka. Wakata, okay, you really are Jimmy's grandson. You've already snagged 2 girls within 2 days of arriving in Japan. That's hilarious. So his granddad was kind of a slut, was it? Apparently. Sorry, excuse my language. 2 girls. The hell? He's like, oh, you just got to Japan and you snagged 2 girls within 2 days. You really are your grandfather's bloodline. Like, what the frick? Man is prolific. This man is prolific. For anyone who doesn't get it, that's a reference. Like, no one's probably gonna understand that. But I just referenced like a comedian. He's like a African British comedian. An African British comedian. I referenced, but no one's gonna understand that reference. Anyways. I like the main dude's speech bubble pops up and there's literally no words, not even a ... It's just blank. Like, what the heck? Oh, also, there was a glitch in this game last time. I have to report it to the developers so they can fix it. I forgot to do that. Anyways, I arrive at our arranged meeting point, and within 5 minutes of waiting, a familiar figure with a side ponytail approaches. Kono sugata. Oboete. Dazo. I think what I just said means I remember this figure, this form. Because he's talking about he just saw like the outline of her. Anyways, I'm sorry to call you out all of a sudden. But actually I was wanting to go to Kiyomizu-dera. Would you be okay with that? Yes, of course. In fact, I was glad you called. I didn't want to be alone. I'm gonna save this just in case. I want to save and it just skipped dialogue. What the hell? Anyways, actually I did pause it. My mistake. Did something happen? Madoka's expression is extremely fearful, and I'm very worried. No, it's nothing. Please don't worry about it. So, Kiyomizu-dera, right? Desu ne? Kochi desu yo. This way, Kochi. I don't know if anyone just heard my nephew yelling in the background. Who is this dude? This view really is something else. I heard there's a phrase, to jump from the stage at Kiyomizu-dera. To jump from the store? Crazy. Yes, it means to pluck up your courage and make a big decision. That does it? It's used when committing to an action in a do or die situation. I was gonna say it almost sounds like a euphemism for like end gaming. IRL, like what the heck? Interesting, what's the word? I forgot the English word. Interesting saying. It's not the word I was going for, but whatever. I'll save this. She looks nice. I like the color palette. A do or die situation. I say color palette because I am an artist, so like I have an appreciation for these things through an artistic lens. Anyways, as we're talking about it, a bit of trivia occurs to me. Trivia? Why trivia? Madoka's always teaching me things, so it might be nice for me to teach her something for a change. Although it's all second-hand knowledge from Gramps. With a silent thanks to my grandfather, I tell Madoka the trivia I know relating to the stage at Kiyomizu-dera. By the way, have you heard the phrase, shoot Niagara? Niagara, the waterfall? Niagara, like Niagara Falls? What? Yeah, that's it. It also means to take the plunge with a big decision. Oh, so just like in Japanese. In English, you also use a simile of jumping from a high place for when you're making a big decision. Yeah, although this one's a bit different, the phrase shoot Niagara was actually created as the English translation for jumping from the stage at Kiyomizu-dera. Oh, that's cool. So nandesu ka? Is that so? Then that's why they're so similar. I feel like I recognize her voice actress. Like Madoka's voice actress, I feel like I recognize her from something, but I'm not really like sure what. But anyways, Madoka sounds a little impressed as she smiles brightly at me. Akarui egao ne. Even though we have the same phrases, we say them differently. So we could mistake them for a different meaning. I've never seen Niagara Falls. Really? Actually, neither have I. I've actually seen Niagara Falls, but only like at like a far distance. So okay, next let's. Sumimasen, chotto ii desu ka? Sumimasen, excuse me, chotto ima. Like he's asking, do you have like a little. Do you have a moment? Yeah. Sure, what is it? I'm sorry, but could you take a photo for me? No problem, let's see, I press here. Yes, that's right, since I'm here at the famed Kiyomizu Dera, I want to capture the scene in a photo. Yeah, I know the feeling. Okay, is from here okay? Yes, thank you. As I'm taking the photo, something feels off. I realize it's because for some reason, the man's gaze is focused on Madoka. Why? I wonder if he's an acquaintance of Madoka's. No, but why would they pretend they didn't know each other? Doubts surface in my mind, but I go ahead and take the photo as he'd asked. That's kind of weird. Dude's like, oh, can you take a photo of me in the scene? But he's like not even looking at the camera. He's just like staring at Madoka the whole time. It's kind of weird. Thank you. Now I have a great photo. Let's both enjoy Kyoto. The man flashes me an affable smile. I don't even know what that word means, affable. Then disappears into the crowd of people. Crowd of people. How would you say crowd of... There's a few different ways you could say crowd. I think one way is dehito. Dehito. I think that's one word for crowd. There's a few others too. Okay, I thought that was going to go back a touch, but it did not. Sometimes when you switch the languages, it goes back a dialogue, but it didn't go back. Okay. Madoka, are you okay? You don't look so good. Is it too crowded for you? No, it's nothing, really. It's nothing. Hontoni. Nanimo. Even as she insists, her tone is growing more and more miserable. Do you mind if we call it a day? I'm actually not feeling that well. Of course, I'm sorry to drag you out here when you're not feeling well. No, don't worry about it. Do you need me to walk you back to where you're staying? I just say yes. Just say yes. So spend more time. No, he says no. No, I can find my way back from here. More important. Oh well, if she's not feeling well, then. Then yeah, don't ask actually. But it seems like she just made that as an excuse. After that dude showed up. Maybe I should have walked her back. Actually, yeah, he should have. If she's not feeling well, you should actually walk her back. But I don't want to be overly intrusive. I hope she feels better soon. Should have offered. Should have asked, if you're not feeling well, do you want me to like walk you back? She says no. Insist maybe once and then just don't more than that. As I gaze after Madoka's retreating back, because sometimes if someone needs help with something, if they're not feeling well, they might like refuse the help, but not because they don't want it, just because they don't want to feel like they're a burden. You get what I mean? So I think it's fine to like insist a little bit and reassure them like you're not being a burden or anything of the sort, and I do want to help, that's why I'm offering. But then if they insist on not getting the help, then it's like, okay, all right, don't try to force it. What were you doing with that foreigner? And not just today, you were with him yesterday too. Even though you have me, even though I love you so much. Yeah, this guy's crazy. The man realizes he's been clenching his fist so hard his nails have bitten in the soft flesh of his palms. Oh, I see, I get it. That's why you were with that foreigner. Because she's insecure, she probably wanted to test his feelings. That's why she met with another man. She was trying to test him. What? Whose dialogue is this? Is this dude's dialogue or? That's his dialogue. Okay. How adorable. But you don't need to worry. I only love you, Madoka. He pulls out his cell phone and gazes at the photo of Madoka on the background. On the background? What the frick? She smiles out at him like an angel, and just seeing this picture causes a smile to spread across his face. Don't worry, Madoka. I only love you, so you won't meet with that man anymore, will you? What the frick? Okay, so he's purposely being made to be kind of eerie. So he's like a stalker. Alright, definitely gotta, I think that, like, thought dialogue, I wasn't sure if it was the main character, but I think it was the stalker dude's, like, inner thoughts. Coupled with what he was saying out loud, actually. Yeah. I wasn't sure at first. Alright. I've definitely got to find a job tomorrow. I have a little bit of leeway. But my money's still disappearing. I mutter to myself, trying to dispel the oddly fretful mood I'm in after I'm done sightseeing for the day. Glancing down at my cell phone, I see that the light indicating an unread message is flashing. Huh? A message from Mom. I open it up and it's her telling me to come back home soon. Whether I stay or go, I guess either way it's up to me. What should I do? There's still things I have to do. Akane. Madoka. Was that Akane in a business suit? I prefer seeing her in, like, the kimono. Kimono looks better. Also complements, like, her hair and everything better. So, like, the kimono is a beautiful dress. After murmuring that to myself, I slowly closed my eyes. I skipped like 2 or 3 dialogues. The next day, I'm sipping at my tea alone in the cafe where I've arranged to meet Madoka. She's late. How do you say late? Osoi na. Osoi, I think. That kanji I actually know, so I can read it without the furigana. Madoka osoi na. Before I know it, it's already half an hour past our appointed meeting time. Dude got stood up. That sucks. But I would say she stood him up not because she doesn't want to, like, hang out with him. By hang out, I mean, obviously, I mean, like, just get coffee and food and stuff. I'm not... I say that because sometimes when you say hang out, like, for example, if you were to say, oh, I'm going to hang out with this girl, some people would actually take that as, oh, they're going to hook up. But it's like, no one said that. You know, it said hang out like with friends, like that. People, you have to clarify or they, like, get weird and misunderstand things. I say that because that happened to me, like, years ago. I was just like, what the hell? But people look at things in like a kind of a twisted lens, I guess. Oh, she showed up. Yeah, I think Madoka, she was late, probably related to... because of the stalker dude. Oh, don't worry about it. Is this not a good time for you? If you're busy, then we can reschedule. Why would you say that when she shows up? What the hell? It's like she's half an hour late. If she's half an hour late, I would say just message her just to see if she's okay, and if she's busy, or if she's busy, be like, we can reschedule. You don't say that after she shows up. You say that if she doesn't show up. Just be like, yeah, we can reschedule for another time. Nan says that you want to reschedule because you're busy after she shows up. After saying this, she lapses into silence. Should I ask her if something happened? But judging from her demeanor, she doesn't want me to pry. In the end, while I'm thinking it over, Madoka orders her drink and I lose my chance to ask her. You didn't lose the chance to ask her, you could still just ask. So what should we start with today? Do you have any requests? Well, let's see. I think for a moment. I wouldn't mind sitting and chatting here, but I'm concerned about how strangely Madoka is acting. Perhaps it would be better to take her out for a breath of fresh air. Well, actually, I just want to go out somewhere with her, but that's irrelevant. Forcing a lid on the thoughts surfacing within me, I suggest that we go out somewhere. I'd like to see the Heian Shrine. Have you been there? Oh, the Heian Shrine. I don't go often, but I've seen a few times. I've been a few times. It's famous for its cherry blossoms. Heian Shrine? It's famous for it? Probably a place I'd want to visit then. Hopefully I can actually visit like Japan next year or something. It's expensive though. So maybe next year. Hopefully. I've never seen it, so I can't really imagine it, but it sounds beautiful. If I can get the composed Madoka so excited, then it must truly be a sight to behold. I'm sure you'd find it to be an incredibly moving sight too. It's that spectacular. Hearing you talk about it, that makes me kind of disappointed. Cherry blossom season is already over. Kyoto has a lot of famous cherry blossom spots. There are also many places famed for their autumn leaves. Oh, that's cool. Although right now it's summer, so we can't see either of them. Is there anything that we can experience in the summer? Madoka? Oh, sorry. What were you saying? Nandeshoka? What was it? What was it? I was wondering if there's anything we can experience in summer. Right. She seems flustered, as though she's only half paying attention. Because she's probably like stressed about the stalker dude. So she's like in and out of it, her thoughts, you know? Are you okay? She falls silent again, and concerned, I speak up cautiously. Oh, I'm sorry. My head was in the clouds. She responds apologetically, but doesn't carry on the conversation. Madoka, is something wrong? You've been acting strangely since you got here. If you're not feeling well, why don't we call it a day? She averts her eyes, her expression troubled. I wonder if I pushed too hard, but if she's in trouble, I just want to help. I mean, how did you push too hard? You said if she's not feeling well, we can call it a day. This sentence makes no sense, because it's not like you said. It's not like he said, if there's anything bothering you, you know, if you're comfortable with it, I can lend you my ear, right? He didn't say that. He said, if you're not feeling well, we can call it a day. So that's not pushing. So what you just said makes no sense, but whatever. Anyways. Oh, but maybe it's none of my business. Just, I would say just offer. If something's bothering her and she wants to talk about it, just say you'll lend her her ear. If she doesn't, then, you know, sorry for overstepping. If that overstepped. And then just leave it there or whatever. And please don't worry about it. I just have some stuff going on, but I'm fine. I brought it up because you don't look fine. If you're in trouble, I want to help. So if there is something, I'd like for you to talk to me about it. Yeah, that's kind of push. I feel like that's kind of pushing it. I'd like for you to talk to me about it, rather than if there's something you need to talk about, I'm here for you and I can lend you my ear, right? The way he's wording it is a bit more pushy, but that could just be the transliteration or translation. Really? Then, she trails off and lowers her eyes to the table, deep in thought. After sitting there miserably for a while, she finally looks up at me as though she's resolved something. I'm ashamed to talk about this with you, and I've just met you. But, if you're willing to listen. I am. Go ahead. From her expression, I can tell that it's not something easy to talk about. In here is a bit. So maybe after we've left the cafe. Ah, right. Shall we go to Heian Shrine? We can talk there. Heian Shugi. Kimashenko. The Heian Shrine. Sure. Although I don't know why we need to go somewhere else. If that's what Madoka wants, that's what we'll do. She's trembling. Her hands clenched into fists atop the table are shaking slightly. It's summer, so surely she can't be shivering from the cold. What on earth happened to her? She's usually so composed, but right now it seems to me that Madoka is afraid of something. I hope it's something I can help with. Whoa. This red building is like super solemn and mystical. Looks cool. Seeing the Heian Shrine for the first time, I get a little carried away. Reminds me of like a Team Fortress 2 map. I haven't played Team Fortress 2 in like a long time. Probably a couple of years, almost. I can't help but feel a surge inside me of this atmospheric and uniquely Japanese sight. Uniquely Japanese, he says about the Japanese, like, shrine. What the? This Japanese shrine, it's just so uniquely Japanese. Like, oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Like, okay. The wording of it, of course it's uniquely Japanese. It's literally Japanese. The heck? Like I said before, the highlights of the Heian Shrine is the cherry blossoms. But it has a completely different mood in each season. She would do well as a tour guide. I bet she's right about that. The scene beneath a clear blue sky, scattered with fluffy white clouds, is somehow invigorating. Sorry, I said I'd listen to your problem, but here I am, getting all carried away. Not at all. It makes me happy to see someone from another country enjoying Japan. Anyways, more importantly, what did you want to talk about? It's kind of crowded here. Maybe the cafe would have been better? I say it completely innocently, but shadow immediately falls across Madoka's face. Here is fine. Hito oi basho I. Hito is person, or people. Hito oi is like many. Basho is the word for place or location, and then I is good. So yeah. Really? So desu ka? Hi. Yes. After that short answer, she falls silent again, as though still debating with herself. I guess that's something she really doesn't want to talk about. If that's the case, then she should talk to someone about it all the more. Confirming my determination, I try once more to get her to speak. Madoka. Sorry. She takes a deep breath, then in a tiny voice she utters a few short words. I have a stalker. Stalker? Her voice had been barely audible, and I reflexively repeat the word back. She nods once, then lapses back into silence. Is she talking about the kind of stalker who develops one-sided feelings and starts following around and harassing the object of their affections? I mean, dude, I don't think there's another kind of stalker. What? I'm pretty sure that's the only meaning of the word. Unless you're referring to like an animal stalking its prey, but like that's completely different. You're talking to her about a problem she has, not about a friggin' National Geographic documentary. Like, what the hell? He was lying in wait again today. That's why I was late. I'm sorry. By now her voice is barely more than a squeak. I see. You don't need to apologize, but a stalker, huh? I don't want to ask, but is he here right now? She answers my questions with a weak nod. Feeling a chill go up my spine, I look around our surroundings. But why would you be the victim of this? At first he asked me out on the train platform, but I'd never seen him before, and I was scared, so I turned him down. I mean, that's kind of weird. So he just randomly saw this girl, and he's like, love at first sight, let me ask her out. That's like pretty weird. Like, it would make sense if you, like, of course, like, if you see someone and you're like, oh, natural attraction, right? Like, I'm attracted to them, let me talk to them. That makes sense. Let me hit up a conversation with them, But not like, oh, I've never talked to them before, and this is the first time I've ever seen them. Let me just ask them to, be like, hey, I know we've never seen each other before, and we've never talked before, and we don't know each other at all. But let's just skip the small talk. You want to just go steady? Like, what the hell? Like, let's just skip this. Just skip the introductory. Let's just go right into the gist of it. Like, what? He's been stalking me ever since. Every day it just gets worse. Like, if you meet someone and you're like, oh, they're my type and stuff, let me hit up a conversation with them. That's just normal. But not a thing of let's skip the small talk and skip getting to know each other upon our first time ever seeing each other and go right into a relationship. Like, what? Like, that's weird. Skip all the intimacy and the buildup of it and go right into it. Like, what? It's like, who is this guy? You've met him. What? All I can do is blink at the unexpected words. Yesterday, the man who asked you to take a photo of him, he's the one. That guy? It fits the same person I'm thinking of. He had seemed like an ordinary guy. But I'm sure MADOKA wouldn't lie about this. There are people in every country who look normal but are actually scary. I glance around surreptitiously. Surreptitiously is a word I have never used in my life, and I don't know if I've ever heard that word ever used in my life. I don't think I've ever heard that word in my life. It's definitely a real word, but I've never used it once or heard it used. Why, like, the look on the dude's face, on the stalker's face, with the way he's holding his glasses, just looks so cocky for some reason, and it's so odd. When I do, I see the man from yesterday standing a short distance from us. I mean, there's a couple ways to handle this situation. One way is to threaten the dude. There's different ways to handle it. Some bad, some good, some neutral. One way is to threaten the dude. He looks kind of like a toothpick, so you can intimidate him. The problem is if he's like that unhinged, he might, end up getting worst case, he could get a weapon or something. So threatening him is probably not the best way to handle it. Because if he is that unhinged, he could possibly just go to get a weapon or something. And then this friggin' like tour guide, romance, drama, visual novel suddenly turns into like a horror. So threatening is not the best way to do it, but you could threaten him and kick his ass. But again, if he's that unhinged, he could just turn violent. Another way to possibly handle it is you could go to the police, right, and say that he's been stalking. He will likely lie and deny it, that he has been, so then it's basically a he said, she said type of thing. And in that case, you could try to take it to court to get a restraining order or something. I don't know how Japanese law would work with this, but if you go to the police, it's basically he said, she said. Because you could say, oh, he's been stalking, but then he'll say, oh, that's not true. That's a lie. And at that point, it's he said, she said. Could try to get a restraining order, but I don't know how that would work in Japan, but either way, that would probably take some time to actually go through. You'd have to go through the court system, which is a stressful process in itself. And then you also have to go and, the restraining order won't be issued right away either way. It'll take a bit of time for it to actually go through. So then you'd have to wait for it to go through. The dude might become more unhinged during that, but that's still a more neutral way to handle it. The other way is, what's another way to handle it? See, because you could try to handle it in a good way. Like she could turn him down again, explain it in a good way, but also in a way where she tries to sympathize with him in the sense of, I'm not saying what she should say because there's no good answer to that, but to summarize, basically she could try to turn him down again and say, they never met each other before, they don't know each other, and that she doesn't think it's healthy for her, the interaction, or for him, and that he deserves to, find someone who is interested in him. Right? Try to word it in a more sympathetic way. Not how I said it, because I'm just summarizing it, but she could try to do that. That, I don't know if that would be a good way to handle it. It could at least be a neutral way to handle it. Because it's going to vary on the person, right? So, but there's different ways to try to handle it. But let's see. I think I want to get the good ending with MADOKA, so I did look it up. But so I said not to confront the stalker like in a more aggressive way about it, which I think makes sense, because if I would want to confront the dude, because I think I can be kind of a confrontational person in real life. However, I think if he is unhinged, and he does seem unhinged because he never met her, he never talked to her before, he just sees this random girl on the train, and he's like, let me skip the small talk and trying to get to know her, and just randomly ask her to, be in a relationship with me, which is insane, right? Never met before, never seen her before, random person you just see on the train for the first time in your life, and you're like, let me just skip the small talk and skip getting to know each other and just skip to the end. Like, what? So if he's at that point, he's probably a bit pretty unhinged, so confronting him might not be the best way to handle it. Madoka, do you know this man's name? Yes, it's Sota Kaneko. Why do you ask? Just in case, I'm sure the way the police handle these things is different depending on whether or not they know the person's name. Wait, of course, the police. Why don't you go to the police? Madoka shakes her head sadly at my suggestion. I've already been many times, but since there's no physical harm done to me, they just told me to be careful. See, this is the thing. This is what I said. Like, she could go to the police, but they're not really going to do anything, right? And the main reason I would say they won't really do anything, she's like, oh, there's no physical harm done to me. So they just said to be careful. Because and some people would be like, oh, it's ridiculous. Why is she going to she went to the police, but they didn't help her. It's like, objectively though, to look at it, if she goes to the police, which she did, and she said, you know, this dude's been stalking me and harassing me, right? It becomes a matter of he said, she said. She says, oh, he's stalking me. They bring him in, and then he's like, I didn't do anything. I haven't harmed her. I haven't threatened her. I haven't done anything. Even though he is stalking her, which is wrong, and that's like emotionally damaging. And that takes a toll on Madoka's surely emotional, mental health, spiritual health. From the police officer's perspective, it becomes he said, she said. So they can't really do anything. And then, again, like I said, she could try to go through the court system to get a restraining order. But the issue with that is that stress, yes, it is also more stressful, but it's going to take time. Like, they're not going to be able to put a restraining order right away. Right? Get what I mean? And it could take some time for it to go through, and then the dude might not care about the restraining order either way. And then she could go to the police and be like, oh, he violated the restraining order, but then he might say, it was an accident. I was just visiting popular, shrines, and I was there with friends or something, Also, I love Japanese culture and stuff, and I want to visit and everything. However, it is true that for public disputes, Japanese police will not get involved unless there's more concrete proof for quote-unquote public disputes. Unless there's more concrete proof or harm done, like physical harm. Well, at the same time, one could say, so that's like a negative. At the same time, a positive is, if someone lies about something, they're less likely to believe a lie. Because they're like more neutral in that way. So you could take that and flip that as a sort of good and bad. On one hand, for like police officers and how they may handle a situation in the West compared to the East. Not that either is good or bad. It really just depends on the context and stuff. I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but it just really depends on the context and everything in the situation. Anyways, no way, by the time something happens, it's already too late. Back in my country, we have strict anti-stalking laws, but I'm reminded once again of the difference between countries. A different country means different cultures and laws. I knew that, but I never imagined their approach to crimes would be so different. Now that this has happened, I don't know. It's nothing to do with you, so please don't worry too much about it, okay? I'm really sorry for throwing all this on you. Please forget everything I said. The way she's smiling at me makes my heart ache, and before I know it, I've unconsciously clasped hold of her hand. I know. Madoka, let's go get lunch. Gohan, lunch. She blinks at me and repeats the word, probably not having expected to hear it. You look pale. The word for pale is masao. Masao is like pale or deep blue. So, Madoka no kao. what's the word? Masao ne. So like pale, isn't it? Pale or deep blue. I seem to have hit the nail on the head as she looks down at the ground silently. No matter where I go, he's always there, so I haven't had much of an appetite. When you're alone, you end up thinking about things you really shouldn't. That is true. People usually think negative thoughts the most, or the worst, when they're by themselves, left to ruminate over it. Usually. Our circumstances might be different, but I know that feeling well. Let's go to the ukiyo-in. Only guests are allowed in, so if you eat in my room, you won't have to worry about your stalker. If the stalker sees her going into your room, he might freak out more. But at the same time, live your life. But that will cause trouble for you. Telling you is one thing, but if he starts to target you too. I mean, what's he gonna do? I mean, the dude looks like a toothpick, but I mean, he could get a weapon though, that's the thing. And from MADOKA's description, he sounds quite unhinged. Don't worry, I might be quite lacking in a lot of ways, but I'm a guy and I have some physical strength. Yeah, don't bank off of your physical strength though. See, here's a fun fact that a lot of people don't know. Men, and I'm not trying to talk about like this blah 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 thing of, it's not men versus women or anything, or like one is more pitiable than the other. Like both have issues and whatever, right? Both genders. But men are usually assaulted more often than women are. Statistically. And one can say, well, why is that? Even though women, are the weaker sex, right? Why are men assaulted more often? The reason men are assaulted more often is because of things like this. The way he reacted, I have some physical strength. Men are typically more cocky and arrogant than women are, right? So when women go out places, they usually go out with friends. They're in a group. When you're with a group of people, you're less likely to be the victim of a theft or assault, because one reason is you're less likely to, because the perpetrator is more likely to get caught because of there being less witnesses. They're more likely to be unsuccessful with whatever attack or theft because there's more people there. So that's why, right? So women are usually assaulted on average less because they go out in groups more. They're smarter with that. They're less alone. Whereas men usually do go out by themselves more often because they're like, oh, I'm a man, I'm big, I'm strong, right? I can protect myself, which sure can be true until, until like 2 or 3 dudes try to rob you. Or 2 or 3 girls try to rob you. Or like someone tries to rob you and they have a weapon, because they have a weapon, they have a knife on them. It doesn't matter how big and strong you are, or if they have a gun, right? Doesn't matter. So men are usually assaulted more often because they're more, they when they are out, they'll be by themselves more often. Whereas women are smarter with when they go out more in groups. Right? They're not really going to go by themselves. Because, it doesn't matter. Plus, it doesn't matter how big you are, how strong you are. It doesn't matter if you're like a world champion boxer or something. If someone pulls a weapon on you, you're screwed. Right? This is I'm going to mention George St. Pierre. He is an MMA fighter. Right? He's arguably the GOAT. He's in the GOAT conversation for the greatest MMA fighter of all time, right? Canadian dude from Quebec. George St. Pierre was asked about what he would do if someone tried to fight him. And mind you, he's one of the greatest MMA fighters ever. He said he would try to run away. And he was asked, well, why would you do that? He said, because I don't know if they have a weapon on them. Right? He's like, I don't know if they have a weapon on them. So I'm going to try to leave that situation as quickly and easily as I can. And that's like George St. Pierre said that. I think he's like in his 40s now. He's like married with children and stuff. But he said that. And he's arguably the greatest mixed martial arts fighter, right? In UFC history and stuff. So, says a lot. But yeah, women are smart because they go out more in groups. Whereas men tend to be more cocky. And, you know, so that's why they'll go out by themselves more. And of course, if someone's going to rob someone or assault someone, they're going to target someone who's alone than someone who's in a group. So yeah, anyways, the main dude should not be too cocky, because even though this girl's stalking MADOKA, even though the guy stalking MADOKA seems like a toothpick, you could probably like kick his ass easy. And I'm sure he won't know how to fight. If he's that unhinged, he might have a weapon. So, anyways, let's continue. There's just one problem. I think we should tell Ken, the owner of the ukiyo-in, about this stalking business. So he talks about mentioning it to Ken. Ken is like an old friend of the main dude's grandfather. They were boys back in the day, you know. But they could ask him about like how to handle this situation. I know MADOKA probably doesn't want to tell multiple people, but he does know how to handle this situation. The main dude's not too sure how to either. Maybe Ken, his grandfather's old friend, can advise how to, you know, handle it. Because the police won't really do anything, because it turns into a matter of he said, she said. So they're like not really able to do much, unfortunately. Particularly in Japan, right? Because I've seen, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing Japan or Japanese culture. Every place has issues. Some places have issues in certain fields more than others. But I'm not going to romanticize Japan and be like it's a perfect place. No place is perfect. Every place and culture has its issues. Some much more than others, right? Like, but especially in certain ways, but yeah. But it does remind me again, I've mentioned it in a previous video. There was a video I watched a few years ago about this Japanese man. Obviously, he was in Japan, and he was talking about like some, you know, some of the dark side of Japan. And he was talking about like a common scam in Japan with these pop-up sort of bars and stuff. And they target Japanese people who are drunks, but they especially target foreigners. And what they do is they kind of get you into, and I'm mentioning this for a reason, they get you into the bar and they charge you some stuff. Particularly, they'll try to like get you drunk and stuff. And then after that, they'll hit you with like a huge bill, right? So you're paying like for like one cup or one bottle like several $100s, and they charge you thousands and thousands. And then especially if you're drunk and you're like, oh, I didn't pay for this, it's like, no, you're drunk, you did order all this stuff. They try to trick you and scam you out of money. And the video, this Japanese dude was exposing some of this stuff. They're not Yakuza, but I forgot the name of them. They're something else. And they target more like foreigners and tourists, right? But they do target like Japanese people, particularly people who may seem like they're drunk. So the dude, he went to that place and he pretended to be drunk. That's why they tried to lure him in to scam him out of his money. And then afterwards, he went to the police, and the police were like, we can't do anything about it because they don't get involved in public disputes. I think this was in Tokyo. And they were basically like, we can't do anything about it because it's a matter of he said, she said. You say they tried to scam you, they say they didn't, right? But the dude had a recording, so he had physical proof. So because he had physical proof, they're like, oh, okay, now we can do something. So for public quote-unquote disputes in Japan, the police will not get involved unless there's like physical proof. Maybe what MADOKA could do related to the stalker is go to the police, but what she could do is try to get proof of the dude being there. Because the dude might try to say, oh, I was just there by chance. But if he's there at every place she goes, then it's going to be like, okay, that's too suspicious. But the dude will still try to make some excuse to flip it. I don't know. So I don't think there's really a good way to handle the situation. There's only bad ways and neutral ways, and you can just hope that whatever neutral way will turn to good. It would be unreasonable to expect his help while hiding everything. I'll trust you on this. She's like, I don't really want to talk to someone I don't know about this, but if it's someone you trust that I can confide in, then sure. Who knew it would feel this good to be relied upon and trusted by someone? Of course. Pretending not to notice the increase in my heart rate, I give MADOKA's hand a squeeze. Ariel, are you planning on holding my hand all the way to the ukiyo-e? She asks me a little shyly. Huh? Oh, you don't want to? I just took your hand because I thought it'd be bad if I lost you and all these people. That makes sense. No, it's not that I don't want to, it's just hazukashi ne. Hazukashi kute. Embarrassing. She hangs her head, her face flushed red. Oh crap, you're probably not supposed to touch people so unreservedly in Japan, are you? In my own country, we hug and even kiss by the way of greeting. So I hadn't thought much about it. But for MADOKA, holding hands with someone probably isn't considered normal. In some countries, it's normal to hug someone and kiss them on the cheek as a greeting. In European countries. Fun fact, some people say that's a European custom. That is actually incorrect. It's actually a Christian custom that originated with Orthodox Christianity. It's called the kiss of peace, where St. Paul said greet one another with a kiss, right? The kiss of peace. You hug each other and kiss on the cheek. That's the greeting. It's most popular in Europe, so it's called a European custom, but it's actually not European, it's Christian. Christianity did originate in the Middle East, though people were first called Christians in Antioch, which I think is Greece, but it's not a European custom, it's a Christian custom. Oh, also fun well, it's not really related, so I won't mention it. I was going to mention another fun fact, but it's not really related. That one's related because he mentioned that greeting. That greeting is common in European countries because it has Christian roots. I hurriedly tried to pull my hand back, but MADOKA holds on to it. MADOKA? I'm okay with it. So can we stay like this? I feel kind of reassured with you holding my hand. Cute. I guess that she's embarrassed, but she's okay with it, especially because I think she has a crush on the main dude, but also as a means to not get lost in the big crowd, and probably because she's also a bit worried about the stalker dude being around, so she doesn't want to let go of the main dude's hand. Sure, if you're okay with it, I won't let go. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu, okini. Okini, the Kyoto version of thanks. He's following. Sure enough, as I why does he look so cocky? That pose he's in? just looks so cocky. What the hell? Sure enough, as I walk along the road to the Ukiyo-in, hand in hand with Madoka, the stalker follows along behind us. You know what they should have done? See if they could have gotten one of those hats with a camera in it. And then just go a bunch of places. And then the dude's following. And then it's like... I should probably walk her back afterwards. It feels a bit dangerous to let her go on her own. The dude might be more unhinged from that, but at the same time he's already unhinged, so he seems like a threat, so leaving Madoka by herself I don't think is a good thing. It's tough how to handle that situation, or how one should handle it. It's very tough. Because there's no like correct way to handle it, right? Not knowing what the stalker is thinking makes it even scarier. For Madoka, it must have been terrifying. Oh yeah, Ariel, who might this be? When we arrive at the Ukiyo-in, Ken happens to be outside and he comes over to greet us. Hajimemashite. My name is Madoka Watanabe. It's a pleasure to meet you. Madoka bows deeply to him. And you, what a polite young lady you are. Kimi no kanojo na kana? Are you his girlfriend? That's... No, you can't just ask her things like that. I hurriedly waved my hand in denial of Ken's teasing words. Well, you came out back holding hands all couple-like, so I just assumed. I mean, that makes sense. You of course would assume that. You're walking around holding hands. Sorry if my voice sounds a little off. If my voice sounds like a bit nasally and stuff, I feel like I'm getting a little sick. Because for that manga I was working on to finish the rough of it for that contest, because they accept at least minimum rough. I did a full illustration as well for their art section. I barely got any sleep the past 3 or 4 days, so I feel like I'm starting to get a little sick. So my nose is a bit stuffed up, but it's not bad. I'm not coughing or anything. No cough or anything like that, just my nose is a bit stuffed up. So if my voice sounds a little off, that's why. But I'm like good enough to stream today and tomorrow, so no worries about that. I will without a doubt be streaming. And just in case, I'm going to take a little little cold medicine. Because I'm not sick, but I feel like I'm starting to get it. Because I was like working too hard on that thing to the point where I barely got sleep and I compromised my immune system. Which is not good. Your sleep is important. Make sure to get a good rest. I was not doing that, so yeah. Is your room? Ken looks startled for a moment, then speaks in a troubled tone. Ariel, maybe you weren't aware, but in Japan, bringing a non-guest to your hotel room is frowned upon. Basically, he's saying like hookup culture is a bit frowned upon. You know? Which I can understand. You know, with hookup culture, it's frowned upon because it can cause problems for the people involved. Also, it's kind of like... It's like plucking a flower before it's actually gotten the chance to bloom and blossom. That's how I look at it anyways. Or it's like having an uncooked steak without cooking it and seasoning it and giving it all the sorts of flavor, you know, that you would get from an actual relationship and deep development bond. Anyways, carrying on. So I can understand why it's frowned upon, because yeah, it's yeah, it's like plucking a flower before it gets the chance to actually bloom or blossom. That's how I view it. Or if you want to put it in food terms, it's like just randomly hooking up with someone is like having an uncooked steak where it's not cooked, there's no seasoning or anything to bring out the richness of the flavor either. So, yeah. Anyways, going forward. A reason. Seemingly sensing something from Madoka's expression and her silence, Ken nods once, then continues on. Well, it seems complicated. For now, show her to your room. I'll join you in a moment. Would you mind telling me what this is all about then? Yes. I'm sorry for the trouble. Gomewaku. Gomewaku. Gomewaku is trouble. Gomewaku. I know the word. I don't think I could read the kanji for it though. I don't think I know the kanji for it, but I know the word. Madoka is apologetic, but Ken just smiles brightly at her and gently shakes his head. People should help one another out in their times of need. I hope we are able to be of help in yours. With a wry smile, Ken disappears in the back of the inn. It's okay, Madoka. Ken's a good person. I'm sure he'll be able to help you. Arigato. I like the way she said arigato there. I like this voice actress. I've heard her voice somewhere before, but I can't remember where. But I like how she said arigato. It's very softly and sweetly. I really love the Japanese language. It's very... I wouldn't say feminine. Like, I'm not trying to insult it. It's not feminine. It's just very... It's a very soft and delicate sounding language. It's very beautiful. Like, there's some other language. Like, English is like a stress language. Right? English is a stress language. Greek as well. I love the Greek language. Greek is also stress. Greek, depending on who's speaking, can sound pretty sexy. But I feel like Japanese, it's not a stress language, it's pitch, right? It's not stress, it's pitch. So it has this soft delicacy to it, which I think is more cutesy and sweet than sexy sounding. Okay, maybe I'm making this take an odd turn, but anyways, whatever. I do love the Japanese language. I love the sound of it. Anyways. It's a beautiful language. Now then, could you tell me what's going on? Of course, only what you feel comfortable sharing. After we're settled in my room with cups of tea from Ken, he speaks considerately. Ken, the truth is... Ah, I see. After telling him about Madoka's stalker problem, Ken looks extremely upset. Madoka-san, wasn't it? It must have been hard dealing with this all on your own. While this is going on, you're free to come to the Ukiyo-in whenever you like. That's actually good that she can go to the Ukiyo-in for peace and quiet and to get away from whatever, because since it's like a hotel style thing, a Japanese hotel style thing, only guests are allowed to go in. And it's frowned upon to bring non-guests there. But depending on the situation and the circumstances, you are allowed to, like, you know, the main dude explained to Ken, you know, this is Madoka, my friend. Has a stalker problem. You know, is it cool if she's here so she can kind of be at, you know, peace of mind for a bit, and also, you know, if you're able to help. Ken, thank you, arigato. It seems like you've been helping Ariel out a lot, so as his stand-in Japanese granddad. Oh, thank you for that. That's funny. As his stand-in Japanese granddad. That's funny. Because the dude's old friend of the main character's grandfather, so he probably feels like the main dude's like a grandson to him, sort of. They're the last words I'd expect to hear, and they warm my heart. I'll prepare your lunches right away. We have some fresh fish today, so it's something to look forward to. With that, he leaves the room. I'm so glad Ken is such a good guy. Gah! Just as I'm feeling relieved, I look over to Madoka to see tears dripping down her cheeks. Oh, she's probably crying because of the stress of everything, but she also feels like happy and relieved in a way too, because there's people she can depend on for this situation. Madoka, what's wrong? Oh, should I not have told Ken after all? Flustered and bewildered as to why she's crying, I start rambling frantically, but Madoka just shakes her head in response. Sumimasen, I didn't mean to cry. I'm just happy. Cue the crying animation. Ureshikatta desu. I'm just happy. Yeah, like I said. Oh, by the way, the voice actress is amazing. But like I said, she's probably like feels like a stone off her shoulders, like a weight off her heart. Like she's thinking, she probably feels so at ease and relieved that there's a place she can get away for peace of mind and people she can rely on for this. So that's great. Anyways, let's cut the crying animation. By the way, I am going to mention too, the crying animation and everything is done by me. Art, rigging, live 2D animations, all by me. She haltingly manages to get the quiet words out between sobs. No one, not even the police, has helped me with this stalking trouble. I thought there was no one I could rely on. And yet you listened to me, even though we only met days ago, and you tried to help me. Hontoni, arigato. Really, thank you. What am I saying? That must have sounded weird. I'm sorry. Before I realize it, I'm hugging Madoka tightly. No. Aria. Main character-san. Main character-san. MC-san. You can rely on me for anything. There might not be much I can do, but I'll help you whenever you're in trouble. God, sorry for suddenly hugging you like that. When I was little, my mom used to do this to make me feel better, so I wasn't trying to be creepy or anything. Dude, it's not creepy if she's like crying and she seems like she needs a hug. Then like hug her. That's not creepy. If she's just randomly walking down the street and you randomly hugged her, then okay, that would be creepy. But in the context, like, she needs a hug. As my mind is racing for how I can make sure Madoka doesn't misunderstand, I hear her giggling. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Atashi, kimi deatta yoru kata. Oishii yoru kata. Atashi. Atashi is the same as watashi, but it's like a more feminine way of saying it. So she said atashi. It's the same as watashi, which means I or me, but it's a more feminine way of saying it. Wiping her tears away, she shows me her first real smile of the day. Japanese doesn't really have female or male ways to refer to oneself. Like, but it does, but it doesn't. Like technically, like a dude could use atashi, which is a more feminine way of watashi. But if a dude were to say that, he would get weird looks. He can use it, but it would be very strange. Same with ore. Ore is a very casual way for a man to refer to himself. Instead of saying like boku or watashi, you could say ore. Ore. A woman could use ore as well. However, if she does, it's going to come off abrasive. Right? So that's why I say Japanese, it's said that it doesn't have gender pronouns for words, but it does. It doesn't, quote unquote, but it does. Anyways. Because yeah, if a girl were to use ore, she would come off as very abrasive. I don't know, I don't think arrogant, but very abrasive and harsh. A bit harsh in her speech. Like unrefined and stuff. And if a guy were to say atashi, it would come off strangely. They can still be used, but like it's not gonna come off as intended. Which again is why I say people say Japanese doesn't have gender pronouns, and it doesn't, quote unquote, but it does. We ended up spending all day here. The sun's already setting. I look up at the reddening sky, feeling a mix of regret at not having got any job hunting done, as well as a sense of accomplishment, though, at having helped Madoka. Arigato gozaimasu. Still light out, so I'll be fine. Her smile suddenly freezes, and following her stare, I see a man standing there smiling. Madoka, you've been in there with this guy a long time. Is everything alright? I don't want to have to say this, but he's a foreigner, so it's best not to get close to him. He has been waiting here all day? That's so weird. A chill runs through me at the thought of such a level of obsession. What should I do? I don't think you're supposed to provoke people like this, but like instinctively you want to like help Madoka to protect her. And then also you would want to be confrontational to the stalker. At the same time, it might not be good to do that, because if he is this unhinged, he could possibly have a weapon on him. You get what I mean? Though, I mean, I'm going to be honest, you could probably like punch him out with one punch, but then you don't have to worry about that. But in the moment, anyways, but it could draw more trouble for Madoka. And for the main dude as well. If the dude is that unhinged. And the fact that he started stalking a girl he'd never met before and saw for the first time. Skipping trying to get to know her in small talk. Trying to force her into a relationship, sort of. Skipping all the going steady part. And then literally waiting outside the place all day. Yeah, he's pretty unhinged. I know like Koko Kaga, she waited outside the place of Banri in the anime Golden Time for him. But that's different because they were like friends and they had a big misunderstanding and she was trying to like patch things up with him. Whereas in this dude and Madoka don't know each other. Okay, so let's save. Okay, so I saved that. Did I save it just in case? Okay, so I saved that at the decision. So, what to do? Like, how should this be handled? It's such a strange thing. And I don't like that they don't give the option to just walk Madoka home. Because it's like tell Madoka to call if anything happens. I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea to leave. That sounds like you're going to leave her there with the stalker. I don't think that's a good idea. If you stand up to the stalker, that's something that I would want to do. But again, I understand like if the dude's that unhinged, that could go bad if he has a weapon. I want to see what happens if you click stand up just to see, but we'll go with the second one. And I think that's supposed to lead to the good ending. I do wish they gave a third option for him to walk her home and then say that, but whatever. Get away from her. What are you talking about? You should get away from my girlfriend. What the heck are you on about? It's like you confessed to her, a girl you never met before or saw before. 何よてんですか私あなたの告白 She's like, I never confessed to you. It's like, I turned you down. He's like, it's okay. Don't worry about that. What the hell? See, going that route is probably bad. Because... No, I'll walk you home. I didn't realize he was so delusional. Okay, we're gonna go the other thing because I think that going the other one leads to the good ending. So we'll do that, I guess. Tell Madoka to call if anything happens. I don't want to leave her with the dude if the dude's like that unhinged and dangerous. But if you stand up to him, which is not a bad thing to do because you're standing up for Madoka, but if the dude's that unhinged, he could be a threat. It's probably best not to antagonize him. And putting my own feelings aside, you could argue that it's best for her not to be around me too much. I don't agree with that. It's good for her to be around other people. I imagine that a lot of stalkers are probably extremely egotistical people. I would think so. Madoka seems frightened as she clutches tightly onto the hem of my shirt. Madoka, I'll walk you home. I think it'd be very dangerous for you to go alone in these circumstances. This is good. So, see, I was worried that for the second option, he would not walk her home, and it's not good to do that. To leave her with him. But the issue with the first option is being confrontational with the dude. The dude's unhinged, and he seems like he could be a danger to her. And then I imagine Madoka probably went to refuse the main dude to walk her home because she's like, oh, they seem like they might get into a fight. Let me try to diffuse the situation and just say, no, it's okay. You don't have to walk me home to the main dude. I imagine that's her thought process. But either way, like, if the dude's that unhinged, we'll see. She says, no, it's okay. I'll go by myself. I don't want to cause trouble for you. It's not trouble. Her face is pale. Madoka no kao o Masao. Her face is pale. Madoka's face is pale. If anything happens, call me right away. I'll come and save you. If there's lots of people around, then he can't do anything, but... Arigato. After flashing me a weak smile, she disappears into the crowd of people. You're the person who took the photo of me yesterday, aren't you? I don't want to have to say this to someone who is kind to me, but please stay away from that girl. If she's really your girlfriend, then why does she look so down? And why is she scared of you? She's just shy. She's hiding out of embarrassment since I tell her how much I love her, even in front of people. This dude's crazy. You're talking nonsense. You're just causing Madoka pain. But my words don't appear to be getting through to him, as the stalker just smirks grossly at me. Well then, I'll be going home with Madoka now, and you should stop going after girls who are already taken. With those parting words, the man who also disappears into the crowds. Going after them. He's saying you're trying to steal his girl, although I don't think it applies in this case. Ken! More importantly, why did you let her go home alone? Couldn't you see how delusional he is? He's a very dangerous man. I'm about to say it. It's because I didn't want to provoke him, but I swallow the words before they leave my lips. No matter how you look at it, it's dangerous leaving Madoka on her own in this situation. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand the dude's unhinged, so you don't want him to... It's a hard situation to navigate. You don't want him to, like, turn violent, so that's why you don't, get confrontational there in case he has a weapon on him and he seems, like, unhinged to that extent. But at the same time, you can't leave her there. Although if she's going to be in danger either way, of course she's better off where somewhere I can protect her. Ah, damn it, get a grip on yourself. Ken, you're right, I'll go after her. Good boy. You should still be able to catch up with it. If the situation gets out of control, please go to the police. If they catch him red-handed, they'll have to do something. Got it. Madoka! After running through the streets for a while, I finally spot Madoka's back up ahead of me. Doshite? Why? I'm worried about you, so I'll see you home. Arigato. I tried to put on a brave face, but I was actually unbelievably scared. Yeah, the dude doesn't even walk with her. He stalks her and watches her. That's wild, though. He confessed to Madoka on the train, a girl he never met before, never talked to. Didn't try to get to know her or anything, just tried to skip her straight into, like, we're destined to be married. And tries to force her into the relationship. The stalker is behind us the whole way, but either because there are a lot of people around or because he never planned to do anything from the start, all he does is follow. Madoka, if it's okay with you, shall we meet up again tomorrow? Eh? Why? Oh, is there somewhere else you'd like to go? No, I'm just concerned about you. I shake my head slowly, looking her straight in the eye. I might not be able to do anything, but I can at least see you tomorrow and listen to you vent. Madoka's eyes widen slightly in surprise. Did I say something weird? No, I just don't understand why you'd go so far for me. Are you always so kind? It's my turn to be surprised. Am I kind? I wasn't trying to be. How should I answer that? I'm thinking over it when Madoka starts to giggle. Madoka, why are you laughing? I'm bewildered by the sudden change in her expression. Well, it's the first time I've seen someone consider it so seriously when I ask if they're a kind person. My reaction must have been pretty funny, as she laughs until tears come out of her eyes. I don't know how I did it, but for now I'm just glad she's smiling. I'm just glad I got her to smile. Yeah, the whole situation is very difficult and tricky to navigate. There's no, there's bad ways to handle it, and then there's just neutral ways. There's no true correct way. Oh, the mouse can actually be seen. Obvious. Anyways, don't worry about it. It's nothing you need to thank me for. Shall we meet again at the same cafe tomorrow? Yes, let's do that. I'm gonna save this. Just quick save the progress. I think we're getting close to the end of it. If your stalker is lurking around and you can't leave the house, I'll come and pick you up, so don't worry. Madoka looks relieved to hear this. Yeah, you can't leave her by herself. Thank you. Oyasumi nasai. Good night. With that, she heads towards her apartment building's elevator. However, as I watch her back recede in the distance, I have a niggling bad feeling. Dun dun dun. Sometime after midnight, I receive a phone call from MADOKA. Hello? MADOKA? Ariel, I'm sorry to call you at this time of night. Madoka's voice is trembling and I can tell she's in a state of panic. Okay, calm down. Take your time and tell me what's the matter. That man, he won't stop ringing the doorbell. He's been doing it for over an hour. I'm so scared. Sure enough, I can hear the sound of the doorbell ringing again and again in the background. What is he thinking? He says he loves her, but all he does is make Madoka suffer. He doesn't love her. It's obsession. Alright, what should I do? If I cause a scene, I'll just cause trouble for the other tenants on my floor. No. Don't worry about causing trouble for other tenants. Don't put yourself in a dangerous situation like that. Do protect yourself, and you doing that will lead that to others. Like, I notice even in Japan, like, some people, and this is a bad thing in Japanese culture, that sometimes they're too courteous. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Like, for example, like in Japan has had a train, like, molestation, like sexual assault issues in the past, like with molestation, to the point where they literally have, in some places, they have separate subway trains for women and for girls. And I've heard, like, some women say, like, in videos and stuff, Japanese women, right, in Japan, that if they were being, like, touched, like molested, they obviously don't want that to happen, but they don't want to, like, but they would be worried about, like, calling out for help or something to inconvenience people around and to cause trouble for them, which is quite silly, because, and that's why I mentioned sometimes they can be too considerate, like over considerate. That's like an extreme of being over considerate, right? Like, if someone's assaulting you, call for help. Surely there will be people compassionate enough to help you, and you will not be causing an inconvenience for them, because they will want to help you. And also, by you know, trying to defend yourself and stuff from that happening, that also encourages other people to not do that, and discourages people from attempting. It encourages people to not go through that, and it discourages people from trying to do such things, right? So it's not an inconvenience, actually. That's why I say, like, and I love Japanese culture and everything, and I want to visit, like, the traditional and the rural parts of Japan, but in some ways I do, from what I've heard through videos and stuff up by Japanese people, is they can display an extreme in ways to being over considerate. And then there's also, like, major issues with idol culture and stuff, which is more problematic in Japan than in the West, because idol culture incentivizes and profits off of, you know, certain things. But that's a different topic and conversation. Again, I'm not bashing Japan. I love Japanese culture. I'm learning the language and everything. So, I mean, I'm almost an intermediate level, almost, in Japanese, for a reason. I love the language, I love the culture, but can't romanticize places and put it on a pedestal. Doing that in itself can be harmful, and can be very disappointing if you put it on a pedestal, because then when you find out that it's not actually like a fairyland, it's not like Peter Pan Neverland, can be pretty disappointed. Anyways, let's continue. Madoka, calm down. Don't panic, and let's work out what to do together. Just as I'm speaking on the other end of the line, Madoka lets out a little scream. Madoka! He's rattling the door now. What if he breaks the door down? Dude, if you're talking to her on the phone, oh, it's probably not a cell phone. That's why I was like, why is he not running to her place talking on the phone? But he's probably using like a phone, like an old style phone. That's probably why. With a cable. She's too terrified to think calmly. I've got to think for her. Oh, we got a decision. Let's save. Call the police right now. I'm coming over right now. Do both. Dude, you can call the police. And you can go over. I think you should do both. Say you're coming over and then also call the police. Or you know what to do? I don't know if he has a cell phone. I would imagine he does. So you can do both. If you don't, still go over. Just in case. And I'm sure Ken is probably around the front desk or something. Ask him or someone to call. If you don't have a cell phone, which you should have a cell phone. Like, come on. I'm coming over there right now. Don't open the door. Eh? She lets out a noise of surprise. I'm grateful, but you can't. I couldn't stand it if anything happened to you. No. Don't. You're being overly courteous. Which I just mentioned. I phoned without even thinking about you. Please forget I ever called. No. You really think I can just abandon you? Wait right there. I'll be right over. I hang up the phone and dash out of the inn. Ariel, where are you going at this time of night? Like I said, go to the place, ask Ken, call the police. Just as I'm coming out of the ukiyo-e, I happen to bump into Ken. I could ask the same of you. I'd take a walk here. Okay, no time for small talk. Dude, skip the small talk. She's in trouble. Just give him the rundown. I just had a call from Madoka. The stalker's harassing her at her apartment. I see. If you go over there, perhaps I'll provoke him. I get what Ken's saying. Perhaps it'll provoke him to be violent, but that's kind of past, dude. Like the thing of don't provoke him. He's trying to break into her apartment. So the time for that has kind of passed. Huh? I'm not saying you shouldn't go. It's just that with someone like this, things could take a turn for the worse if you don't think before you act. Oh, okay. So I was going to say, if you're stopping him from going, that's ridiculous. But he's trying to say, think before you act. Which makes sense because the guy could have a weapon. So don't think before you go, think while going. He might turn his resentment on you and start targeting you instead. Are you prepared for that? I'm going to Madoka's place right now. I can't leave her all alone when she's so scared. Even if you put yourself in danger. I don't mean to be rude, but you've only known her a few days, haven't you? So? I owe your grandfather a lot, so I can't turn a blind eye to his grandson putting himself in danger. Oh, that's why he's worried about the main dude, but it's like, you know, I'll just say, there's no greater love one has than to lay down their life for their friends. That's a quote. Jesus said it. So if there's no greater love than that, how much more so than to lay down your life for someone you barely or don't know, right? Madoka might be in danger at this very moment. When I think of this, my mouth starts running off of its own accord. You've got good intuition, just like Jimmy. If you're sure of what you're doing, then I won't stop you. If she can't stay where she is, you can bring her back here. Ken, if anything happens, please call me at once. I have a certain amount of influence around these parts. Thank you, Ken. I flag down a passing taxi and give the directions to Madoka's apartment block. Okay, I have to be right back. And then we're gonna finish this. Because I think it's like near the end. So I'm gonna be right back in like 2 minutes. Because I'm gonna be right back in 2 minutes. Then we'll finish, okay? Just give me a moment. Also, enjoy the idle animation I made for my model. I don't know if it'll come across because I had to do some stuff with VTube Studio, so I might have to re-put the idle animation I made, but hopefully it shows up. Anyways, I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Okay, back. Anyways. Okay, so let's finish this. I think we're near the end, because this seems like pretty climactic. Like the build-up. Anyways, huh? The stalker isn't here. I'd expected him to be lying in wait in front of the door, and I feel the wind go out of my sails slightly. I suppose it's better that he's not here. I think to myself as I press the button for the intercom. Madoka, are you okay? It's me, Arya. Hontou ni kite kuretan desu ka? Oh, he left. Oh, that's good. I guess he didn't break in, but that's crazy. He was ringing the doorbell for an hour and turning the knob and stuff. She looks scared but relieved. Like she's scared of the situation, but she's smiling slightly because she's happy to see the main dude. Clearly relieved, Madoka flings the door open and throws her arms around me. Omote imasen desu ka? Omote is like to think. I didn't think you'd really come. I actually understand the Japanese. That whole sentence she said I understood. Although I'd only just seen her that afternoon, she now looks far more haggard. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty hungry right now. Like my stomach's making noises. But we're gonna finish this because I think we're close. Madoka, where is he? It's not a long game, like the routes. She slowly shakes her head in response to my question. I don't know. Maybe he realized I was on the phone and ran away. Oh, maybe he heard her on the phone and maybe thought that she's calling the cops or something, so he got scared and left. In other words, he's a coward. The fact that he ran means he's aware that what he's doing is wrong. Exactly. He understands that what he's doing is wrong. That him stalking her and stuff. When we met in the daytime, he looked like a normal guy. Honestly, the way they did his design, the stalker's design, he looks like really cocky for some reason, which is odd. But he's a complete creep. I'm worried about MADOKA. I don't think this is going to end here. Just then, MADOKA sways on her feet. Sways on her feet. That's an interesting sentence. Careful. I immediately wrap my arms around her to hold her up, her face deathly pale. MADOKA, you don't look well. You should rest for a bit. You can't have been sleeping well. You're right. I couldn't sleep all on my own. Every time I thought I was falling asleep, I'd jerk awake again. She covered it up with makeup during the day, but seeing her now, I can immediately tell she hasn't been sleeping. I'm here now, so you lie down and rest. But what about you? It's okay. I'll stay here while you sleep. Or would you rather... Or would having a stranger in the room make it harder for you to sleep? Not at all. I just feel bad for you is all. Her room is cute. Setup of it. She has a dresser there. I had to throw out my freaking dresser. Unrelated. It's like you're breaking the seriousness of the scene. I had to throw out my dresser and my desk. Because there were termites that got in it, so I had to throw it out. But I bought like a foldable table to use as a desk. One of those foldable plastic ones, and I have like a cheap little metal shelf to replace my dresser. Though the dresser didn't have clothes, I have like a little thing for clothes, and then I had another dresser just as storage. So this like shelf here, which is made of, I don't know what's it made of, aluminum or something else, some cheap metal. But that's fine for like the little storage stuff. Had to throw those out because of termites getting in it, unfortunately. The desk, I actually made that desk with my dad, actually. Like, it was rough carpentry, but it is what it is. I am like skilled in carpentry. Before I became an illustrator and became proficient in live 2D rigging and animation, and also making my own merch, because I make my own metal posters and everything. I did work construction for a few years, and I made my own computer desk, which I had to throw out because of termites. But I did make it and used it for almost a year or two before that issue. Though my experience wasn't in rough carpentry. I was like a laborer, but I did different things. I did labor work. I did rough carpentry. I did like carpenter assistant work. Concrete forming for like a subway. I only did construction for a few years. I did it for like 3 or 4 years. And I loved it. I love physical work. I do love physical work, manual labor. But I love it, but I love drawing and stuff more, so. Been doing that for the past few years. And plus, when I did construction work, I learned what I wanted to from it. So, I got the knowledge I wanted out of it. Anyways, I'm so hungry. My stomach keeps making noises. But we're so close to finishing the game, so I'm like, oh, let's finish it. She fell asleep right away. Not only has she not slept, but the doorbell's been following her for hours on end. She must have been at both her physical and psychological breaking point. I watched the sleeping Madoka with relief, but then... Gomenasai, I'm sorry. Before even 10 minutes have passed, she opens her eyes. I told her to rest, but then she's unable to sleep. Madoka, let's go to the Yukiyoin. Ken said to bring you back if anything happened. You clearly can't sleep here, whether it's my room or a different one. Why don't you try sleeping there? Demo, but... She still looks like she wants to say something, but I take hold of her hand determinedly and lead her out of her apartment. When we arrive at the Yukiyoin, Ken is there to greet us. Ah, I thought you might come. You can sleep here after you've had a bite to eat first. Ken is wait. That's nice of him. He's like, I'll make you, food. Even though she's not a guest at the place, he's like, I'll make you guys. Though the main dude is, he's like, I'll make you guys some food. Have some food made for you guys, and then Madoka can sleep. That's nice. Very hospitable. We can talk later, Ariel. First things first, we have to prioritize her getting some rest. Ah, okay. By the time Madoka's been put to bed in the room Ken prepares for her, it's already starting to get light out. After a while, I go check on Madoka and find her sleeping deeply. Madoka-san wa? It says, where's Madoka, but that's not what he said. He said Madoka-san wa. Madoka-san wa marks, emphasizes what's before and marks the topic of a sentence. So it's like saying, as for Madoka. But for some reason they put, where's Madoka? Which he did not say. If he said, where's Madoka, it would have been like, Madoka-san wa doko desu ka? But that's not what he said. Anyways. Again, we're looking at the visual novel in English because while my Japanese is, I would say, close to intermediate level, not close to it, close to lower intermediate. This visual novel is too hard for me. Visual novels are hard. Like, generally, I think visual novels are like either advanced or maybe at the lowest, mid to high intermediate. I think they're like high intermediate or advanced. That's why even for like even for that one visual novel, the Android Girl, not Planetarian, but the other one, how did I forget the name? What the hell? I forgot the name. I'm trying to like Jimmy Neutron brain blast this. What was the name? Atri, that was the name. Okay. Jimmy Neutron brain blast worked. The Atri, that game, which I really loved. Like that, I had the English and Japanese for the last few parts of the demo of it up at the same time, but I couldn't read a lot of it. Like a lot of what I was reading was just some stuff that had been repeated, but there was a large portion, tongue-tied, large portion of it I could not read in the Japanese. Because the visual novels are hard. I think they're like advanced difficulty. Like not fluent. You don't have to be fluent, but near fluent to get them. Unless there's voice acting with it. If there's voice acting with it, then it might be like mid to high intermediate. Because the voice acting makes it easier, right? Because you can hear it and then maybe be like, oh, I don't know how to read this word, but I know it from hearing it. You know? Yeah. Never mind that you're the ones in trouble today, but could be me tomorrow. I'll expect you to help me out then. His joking words filled me with relief. Seems she's in quite a pickle. The situation looks quite dangerous for her. She might have a mental breakdown before long. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, but I have no idea what to do about it. Although he ran away this time, the fact that he went all the way to her house regardless of other people being around should consider that he won't stick to just following her around anymore. Yeah, he's becoming more and more unhinged. Ken's words are something that I've already considered. Till now he'd been just following her. But he'd really gone off the deep end and started to harass her. I'm the cause, aren't I? No, you're not the cause. He would have reacted and been the same way. Regardless. Right? Like he would have acted the same way and regardless. Even if it wasn't the main dude, if she met someone else. Just... And even if she didn't, he still would have probably eventually gone more and more hinged. Ken doesn't say anything. I don't have to ask to know what that means. Main guy's kind of a dumbass. Anyways, there probably weren't any other guys in Madoka's life until now. That's why the stalker kept things at that level. Or the dude would have been unhinged, become more unhinged anyways. But when she became friends with me, he started to get panicked and his actions escalated to harassment. I mean, they already were harassment in a way, just a quote-unquote lighter version. They say that love and hate are two sides of the same coin. Isn't it love and indifference are two sides, not hate? Anyways, judging by this guy's deeds, I think that's probably true. Just one move on their part, you can start to hate the person you love the most, like they're your worst enemy. Toriaizu. Anyways, for the time being. It may be futile, but she should consider going to the police one more time. Okay, I'll talk to her when she's awake. I don't particularly want to bring it all back up for her, but since nothing can be resolved without discussion, I have no choice. Madoka awakes when the sky has already started to turn orange. Sorry, I only meant to rest for a little while, but I slept all this time. Ah, no worries about that. I'm glad you seem to have had a good rest. Thank you. It's been a while since I've slept so well. At this, Ken and I exchanged slightly sad looks. While you were sleeping, I spoke with Arya. How do you feel about going to the police again? The police, Keisatsuni. Ni is a particle that indicates going to a place, but it can be figurative. But they told me that they can't do anything without actual harm having been done. Some of them even said there's nothing wrong with just following someone around. Did they actually say that? That's actually very toxic. There's nothing wrong with following someone around. Like, sure, it's going to mess with their mental and emotional health. But sure, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, the fact they actually said that is crazy. That's terrible, like, actually. Even though you were so scared, they aren't fit to be police officers. They may be police officers, but they're still human, and humans can't comprehend the extent of other people's fear and sadness until they've experienced it themselves. That is unfortunately true. But you can still theoretically get it. Having said that, it gets my blood boiling that they treated you like that. Ken sounds disgusted too. Okay, I'll go to the police one more time. I'll come with you and ask them to apprehend the stalker too. Thank you. To be honest, I'd be nervous going alone. So I'd like if you were with me. I'm gonna save here, just... Why not? Madoka sounds relieved, and so we decide to go to the police station together right away. Even so. After that, Madoka and I go to the police station and discuss the stalking issue, but I'm not doubting your story. But we can't do anything based on your testimony alone. I mean, the fact that dude showed up there to her place, though. I mean, the fact he did that makes this go beyond a he said, she said story. Even though anti-stalking laws have been made stricter, unless there's real harm done, our hands are tied. That's crazy. Real harm done. So what? It's like he has to break into the place for something, for them to act? Madoka hangs her head dejectedly, as though she had expected this response all along. But look how scared she is, and you're still not going to do anything? I want to, but at this point there's a lack of evidence, and even if we brought him in for questioning, he'd be released right away. The line in these cases is unclear. And I think it's very hard to arrest someone unless they're caught in the act. The police officer sounds a little apologetic. I ball my hands into fists, seething with frustration. Mo ii desu. Ikimashou. Mo ii desu. It's enough. Ikimashou. Let's go. Yeah, she looks very dejected. Madoka tugs weakly at my shirt, and unable to stand anymore, we leave the police station. That night, I decide to stay over at Madoka's apartment, and Madoka accepts my offer surprisingly easily, probably out of fear. Actually thinking about it, maybe this is really rude of me. Where they're not doing anything, and it's not like you're trying to get in her pants or anything. You're just there to support her. And I think something that's kind of nice is that I don't think Madoka's using the main dude as an emotional crutch or anything, like an emotional snot rag or anything like that to throw away after. It's more, you know, seemingly genuine. I remember seeing something in a movie about it being frowned upon to stay in a girl's room when she's not your wife. I mean, it kind of looks bad, to be honest. I know hookup culture is like very popular, but the reason I say it looks bad is for a number of reasons. One reason is, and people will disagree with me, but I'm just saying this from a neutral standpoint. Well, one reason I would say it looks like you're plucking a flower before it blooms or blossoms or has the chance to. It's also like having an undercooked steak before the steak is cooked and seasoned, and by that I refer to hooking up with someone rather than developing an actual, you know, relationship with them, because the relationship and the intimacy and those feelings blossoming is what I'm referring to. That makes it, that I imagine would make it so great and really season the steak being the interactions with between the two, the seasoning being the blossoming relationship. Yeah. But also, like, there's other issues too that people don't think about. Like, it makes the girl seem like she's very easy. It makes the dude seem like, could make him seem like that, or as well, or a bit heartless, like he's not like very prolific and frivolous, right? Like, these things have these connotations to them, and I'm saying this from a very neutral standpoint, but I say it because people don't actually think about these things. People don't think about the actions of the results of their actions, and this is going to be very deep, but the fact of the matter is, everything someone ever does or says in their life, big or small, has a reaction effect. It has a domino effect. Sometimes many dominoes will fall, the pieces. Sometimes one will fall. Sometimes one will just shake. But it always has a domino effect, right? So I understand why the main dude said it seems like rude and stuff for him to be in her room when they're not together, because it gives a certain perception to it of, you know, her being easy, of him being prolific and frivolous, of other things as well, right? And again, I say that from a neutral standpoint, not judging anyone. I'm just stating a fact for how these things can be perceived and what it can result in. Though I will say as well, even though I'm not a judgmental person, people tend to conflate judging an action with judging a person. You can judge someone's actions and disagree with it without judging them and condemning them as a person. I feel like a lot of people usually forget that because they over-conflate the two. The action, the action itself and the doer of the action. Like, they're not the same. Like, someone you know can do something bad, right? Maybe they steal something. But it's not like you're going to be like, oh, you should go to hell, or, oh, you know, you're a horrible person for that, for doing a bad thing, right? You separate the action done from the doer of the action. But people usually conflate the two. But anyways, I only talk about this because he said about how it could be perceived, him staying at Madoka's place even though they're not together. Maybe a little bit of a tangent, but not really, it all relates. Although, on the other hand, I also feel really bad I ended up getting you tangled up in my issues. You worry too much. I heard that Japanese people tend to be quite humble, but I think you're especially so. This is what I mean about the over-courteous thing. Like I mentioned before, right? Like sometimes I've heard stories of Japanese women where they've said if they were to be molested on a train, they would not want to inconvenience other people. It's like, no, people... If you're targeted in something, going for help or calling out for help is not inconveniencing others. People are at least compassionate enough where they will want to help you. And if they want to help, that's not inconveniencing them. And even if they don't, do it anyways. Because that way it defends you and it gives hope and defense to other people going through similar things that they not need to suffer. I mean, really, by not acting, that's the true inconvenience. So if someone is being harassed, or they see someone being harassed and don't act, that is what causes the true inconvenience by allowing such things to flourish, such evils and bad things to flourish and prosper. Which is not good, because for obvious reasons. Yep. Doing nothing is as bad as doing something. Or almost as bad as doing something bad. Anyway, sorry, my chair, I had to move it. Anyway, you think I don't mean to be. It's probably also to do with her personality. After all, Akane is Japanese too, but she seems like the straightforward type. Anyways, you should sleep if you can. I'll be here. Oh, do you mind if I read that manga? It seems to have a lot of volumes, so it'll be perfect to pass the time. I point to a row of manga on the bookshelf, and Madoka looks a little surprised. Tamaemasen kado. Of course, but can you read the kanji? I can read some kanji IRL, but I need furigana. I think usually stuff that's more like mid-tier intermediate you'll see the stuff I think around mid-tier intermediate start to not have furigana. I still need furigana because I'm like upper novice to lower intermediate for reading. Sure, I can read the basics, and with manga you can tell a lot from the picture, so it's no problem. I mean, yeah, you can tell a lot from pictures, but just looking at the pictures isn't going to teach you anything. If you look at a child, like I've seen this with my nephew, who's like, who's a baby, right? As he learns a language, he's learning. He doesn't do people say, oh, babies sentence mine. Sentence mining will not teach you a language. It's incomplete. You need to learn what makes up the sentence too. So my nephew, as an example, he sentence mines. He will say sentences, even if he doesn't fully understand them. But then he also learns the words that comprise and make up the sentence. You have to do both. Some people overemphasize sentence mining, and it's like, it's not one or the other. They both go hand in hand. Like, you gotta learn the sentence and what comprises the sentence. A knock. There's the sound of someone pounding at the door, and Madoka's expression freezes. Madoka, you're in there, aren't you? Why won't you come out? He's harassing her. They should record it. Are you with that foreigner again? You're my girlfriend. Why are you cheating on me? At first his tone is gentle, but it soon grows harsher and Madoka trembles. Please stop it. Watashi. Anata no koibito. Nai. It's like, I'm not your lover. Koibito is... Oh, I guess koibito can mean girlfriend or boyfriend, but like it means lover. Koibito. Koishi would be like beloved or dear. She did not say that. She said koibito. I'm just mentioning a similar sounding word. Koishi is like beloved or dear. So you could say like, my beloved, my koishi did this or said this, right? But koibito is lover. Yeah, it could mean girlfriend or boyfriend. Usually for girlfriend, you'd say, oh, yeah. I think she said koibito rather than kanojo, like I'm not your girl, because koibito to very emphasize it more. She used the word koibito purposefully there. Instead of saying something like atashi wa kimi no kanojo nai or something, like I'm not your girl, she said koibito purposefully. He's like, liar, you love me, I can see it in your eyes. Your eyes that... What the frig? The words he's spouting through the door are all his own fantasies, and listening to them is pissing me off. Madoka, shall I go out there? You're scared, right? No, I'll go. I don't want to be afraid any longer. Oh, she's gonna confront him? Please stop this. Don't make me suffer anymore. That's... You opened it because you love me, right? You wouldn't open it to someone you hate. How does he twist to that? Madoka is shaking like a leaf, and I step forward out of the room. Yappari. Omae ga ita no ka. Yappari. Yappari's like surely, or as I thought. Omae ga ita no ka, he said. Omae ga ita no ka. Omae, you, ita. Ita would be like existing or existed here. Like, you're here too. Quit this crap. Causing pain to someone you supposedly love isn't real love. I pull out my cell phone and thrust it out so we can see the screen. I recorded everything. You can't run away anymore. Oh, he recorded it. Smart. I was actually saying, because he showed up and whatever, like, I was saying he should record the audio of the dude. Because you have him like harassing her, banging on the door and stuff, trying to get in. Calling her his no girlfriend, and she's like, I'm not your lover. Smart choice of words she used when she said lover koibito rather than like kanojo. Seeing that my phone is purposefully to emphasize. Seeing that my phone is still recording, he suddenly turns on his heel and dashes off. He ran off. He ran off because he knows he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he's like, oh, they have proof. It's recording. I wouldn't like show the dude the phone too close in case he tries to break it. Wait! Oh, don't chase him too far. We have proof now, Madoka. I'm putting an end to this right here and now. Wait, we have proof. You can't run away anymore. Why are you running after him? Just go to the police station. You have proof right now. Like, you have the audio recording. Go to the police station. And if I smash it, all your proof will be gone. Stalker suddenly stops and spins back to face me standing his ground. I'm gonna keep watching over Madoka. Stalker grabs an empty bottle off the ground and raises it in the air, aiming at me. I love Madoka! Why are you trying to get in the way of that? Gah! Just as he's about to throw the bottle at me, a group of policemen surround the stalker and restrain him. How? I didn't call the police. Ken did. I knew it. I called them. Madoka called to me and asked me to help you. Oh, probably when he ran off after the guy. Madoka, she didn't call the police, but she called Ken, the Ukiyo-en owner. I realized I've run quite a way, and I'm now near to the Ukiyo-en. Just as I was going to call you, I saw you two running this way. What a lucky coincidence. Damn you! Let me go! Let me go! What have I done? I was trying to chase away this bastard. The stalker resists the police, holding him back, struggling and twisting to try and escape their grip. Also, sorry if you hear my nephew in the background. The sight brings home to me that it's really all over, and I sink down to the ground. Before I know it, my legs have given out after running at full speed for such a long distance. Daijoubu kai? Are you okay? Are you hurt? I sink down onto the ground and a police officer comes hurrying over, hurling questions at me. I'm fine. Received word from Sakurai-san, and you were just on your way to the apartment you were at. Huh? He told us that your friend was in trouble and asked us to listen to your story. Even if we couldn't caution him, we could increase patrols in the area. Please take a look at my cell phone. I recorded all this harassment from earlier. He looks a little surprised when I hold my phone out to him. In any case, we'll be asking for your side of the story about his attempted assault. With this, we'll be able to mention the alleged stalking. For the time being, could you accompany us to the police station, along with the victim, if possible? Okay, I'll call her now. I call Madoka. Thanks to Ken, it seems like a resolution to the stalking issue is in sight. Thank goodness. I'm sure Madoka will be overjoyed too, although she's not answering. Ariel. Just as I'm thinking... sorry. Anyways, just as I'm thinking this, all of a sudden she's flinging her arms around me in a hug. Thank goodness. You're okay. I'm so glad you're okay. Bujite yokatta desu. I can hear the tears in her tone and I'm at a loss for how to respond. However, I'm sure that this will be the last time she cries. As I think this, a smile naturally comes across my face. Day 5. I'm really, I really, that should say I really, not I'm. Let me save this and report that text issue. I really don't have the words to express how grateful I am to you. Thank you so much. I didn't do anything. Ken's the one who called the police, and then I didn't help at all. No, just having you here was a lifesaver. She repeats the sentiment, smiling brightly. She's cheered up considerably. After that, we'd been questioned for a long time until Ken had said that MADOKA was tired and we'd been let go for the time being. We'd brought the exhausted MADOKA back to sleep at the Yuki-Oen where she'd gone out like a light. I guess she was still too shooken up to sleep at her own place, so they prepared a room for her. When she'd finally awoken, she'd go asked to go out to the cafe, and so here we are. But mo kitemasu ka? Mo kitemasu ka? Are you listening? Hey, mo, hey, huh? Oh, gome. What were you saying? MADOKA had always left somewhat of a faint impression, so I'm a little startled by the slight force in her tone now. Perhaps this bright girl before me now is the real MADOKA. I'm going to teach you all about Japan. If there's anything you want to know about, just let me know. Right. I probably have a lot to ask you. So nan desu ka? Tatoeba. Tatoeba? Tatoeba means like example. So she's... yeah. Well, now that you ask, I don't know where to start. Mo. Are you okay? You had your head in the clouds all day. She sounds a little peeved. Well, I realized that's what it must look like. The truth is, before I set out, Ken told me had a call from my mother. She said it was about time for me to come back. 1 minute, she's telling me to go. The next, she wants me to come back. Mom always wants it her way. While I'd been fretting over what to do, Ken had given me a wonderful suggestion. A phone call from my mom. Yes, she wanted to know when you planned to go home. And what did you say to that? I didn't say anything, except that you might decide to stay in Japan. I nervously clenched my fists, and what did my mom say to that? I'm sure she said there's no way, right? A trip is one thing, but knowing her personality, I can easily imagine her saying no way to me living abroad. She said she'll let you do as you like. You can settle in your hometown. But if you set on living Japan, she'll support you. I'm a little shocked by those words. Never thought she'd say something like that in a million years. It's still only been a few days since you arrived in Japan. You should take more time to think about it. If you do choose to stay, you're welcome to work here. That's nice. I can't comprehend his words right away. I had never expected to hear such words said to me, someone who ended up as a NEET even in my own country. And honestly, it was hard to tell if he was serious from the impatient expression. Aha, what a funny face you're pulling. There's no need to be so stiff. I don't know what kind of face I'm pulling, but I'm sure it's ridiculous. After all, this is the first time I've heard Ken laugh so loudly. Like I said, you've only been here a few days, so take time to think about it. That Ken leaves the room. Oh, kitemasu ka? MADOKA's angry voice brings me back to reality. Sorry, what were you saying? So you weren't listening. Kitanai janai ka. Kitanai janai ka. I admit that I haven't been listening, but of course MADOKA is annoyed. Having said that, even if I'd tried to cover it with some vague answer, she'd probably still have been pissed. MADOKA goes grrr. I puzzle over what would have been the correct thing to do. Really, all I'm doing is putting off the problem of whether to stay in Japan or return home. Nanika attan desu ka? Something happened. You look like you're worrying over something. I'm a little surprised that she can see through me like this. I have to adjust my chair. It's only been a few days. Well, they've known each other now for a while. Only like maybe a week or something. Well, I guess it was pretty obvious my mind was elsewhere. I think she does have a crush on him though. Feeling a little remorseful, I pick my next words carefully. No, I think I'm just a bit tired after everything that happened yesterday. You must be tired too, right? I wave my hand around and gloss over it, but Madoka looks even more annoyed. Please don't try to hide it. You rescued me. This time I want to help you out. Oh man, she like sees right through him and pretty quick. She clasps my hand tightly in hers and looks up at me earnestly. While I'm a little taken aback by this new resolute behavior from her, when faced with her earnest expression, I feel like I have to tell her. I didn't want to talk about this with her if I could help it, but I mean, you should. It might hurt Madoka if I tell her I might be going back home, or am I just being conceited? I mean, if you just randomly leave, she's probably going to be like, dude, what the heck? I had a call from my mother, and I'm thinking about whether to go back home or stay in Japan. Kikoku, go home? She looks a little hurt to hear that. While I do want to stay in Japan, I'm also unsure if I'd be able to hack it in a foreign country. It's not like I'd be moving to a different town. Starting a new life in another country must be way more difficult. Are you not going to say anything? If you're in trouble, I want to help you out, but I think this decision is something you have to make on your own. If I said you shouldn't stay in, if I said you should stay in Japan, you wouldn't have chosen the path for yourself, and I think you'd regret it. To an outsider, these might. Her saying that does actually imply that she wants him to stay, though. But to an outsider, these might sound like harsh words, but they come from Madoka's heart and a place of concern for me. I was trying to be sneaky just now. I was trying to get Madoka to decide for me something that I couldn't decide myself. He was trying to test her feelings, and he wanted her to say for him to stay, I think. Which she kind of implied she wants him to. Ashamed of myself, I hang my head, unable to look Madoka in the eye. It's my 5th day in Japan. Only the 5th? Wow. Man, I went through a whole adventure. It's time for me to make up my mind. They're obviously not in a relationship yet, but they're definitely close friends. Quickly, too. Which is cool. Thanks, Madoka. I mean, he did help her out with a lot, so thanks, Madoka. I'll think about it a bit more myself. I'll choose a path I won't regret. So they call it a day. It won't be any fun going sightseeing with this on your mind. You should focus on yourself right now. I'm quite exhausted myself. I'm not in agreement with her proposal. I think the word for proposal in Japanese is teian. I think. Teian. What do I want to do? I'm on my way back to the Ukiyo-en. Looking up at the sky, I think back on these days I've spent here in Japan. I think of Ken, my grandfather's friend, the places I visited, and then of Madoka. And forgot all about Akane. That's wild. My decision is, a few days later, when the time limit my mother has set is up, I call Madoka to meet at the cafe. Nanika attan desu ka? Madoka arrives at the cafe looking extremely worried. No, but there's something I want to tell you. Sorry to call you out of the blue. I've decided to stay in Japan and I'll be working at Ken's place at the Ukiyo-en. Eh? Anata wa na Ukiyo-en de? She seems really surprised as she repeats the words back to me, her eyes wide. Then the next moment, it's my turn to be shocked. Actually, I knew she was going to say that. Actually, I'm going to be working at the Ukiyo-en too. Ken asked me, since he doesn't have enough waitresses. Look at that, Ken playing matchmaker. He got them both jobs. He sees there's like a spark between them, right? They're definitely going to be like friends for life. But he sees like a more deeper spark there too. And he's like, you know what? I'll give them both jobs. I knew when she was shocked and she had something to tell him too, I was like, in my head, I'm like, she's working at the same place. She got a job at the same place. And she said she did. I was like, I knew it. I didn't actually know it. But like in my head, I thought that's what she was going to say. It's like, what? He never said a word about it to me. It's surprised. However, thinking about it now, he'd had a kind of impish look as if he had been planning something. He's like, I see the spark between you two. I'm gonna get that spark to ignite. Help you get it to ignite, the two of you. So I still get to be with you. I'm so happy. What did she say in Japanese? I can't read. Nata to mada isho ni irareru desu ne. Oh, I can actually read that even if I didn't hear her audio. Anata, well, that's Arya-san to. Mada isho ni, mada still, isho ni together. Ni indicates a place you're going to. It can be figurative. So mada isho ni irareru desu ne. Watashi sugoku ureshii desu. Very happy to be able to be together still with him. The way she worded it there, like obviously implies her feelings. Because she's not like, oh, I'm glad we'll be working at the same place. Or rather, she said, Mada isho ni irareru desu ne. Watashi sugoku ureshii desu. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm happy we'll be working at the same place, she's like, I'm happy, like very happy, sugoku ureshi. I'm very happy, that we'll be together still, is the literal the literal translation would be still being together, being able to, I very happy am. That's the literal translation of what she just said. But yeah, she worded it in a way which implies she has a serious crush. With her elegant smile right now, she's the picture of a perfect Yamato Nadeshiko. Who the hell is Yamato Nadeshiko? That's the second time they've said that name. Yamato Nadeshiko. Yamato Nadeshiko is a Japanese term meaning the personification of an idealized Japanese woman. When I look it up, it shows a pink carnation flower. Ooh, play off words. Cool. I've heard that term before. I wasn't sure if it referred to a real person or what. And it's the second time they also mentioned it in this visual novel. It's like, I'm happy too. Ore mo ureshii desu. I'm also happy. But why did you decide to stay in Japan? You seem to be having a hard time deciding. You seemed to have been having a hard time deciding. Oh, because I've met some wonderful people here and I don't want to leave them just yet. She blinks at me again. And even though it's been resolved for now, there's no telling if that guy won't show up again. He was literally arrested. So I want to be around to look out for you. That's... See, what she said there about being happy to be with him was a bit forward, but she worded it like that. The way he worded it is more direct. For some reason, Madoka's face is turning bright red. Yeah, for some reason. Madoka, you're looking a bit red in the face. Is something wrong? Main character has... He's an airhead. Sometimes I just don't know if you're a complete airhead or you're doing all this on purpose. That's hilarious. It's like, I don't know if you're an airhead. Kimi wa baka ka. Baka ka. Kono serifu. Kono seri, or it's like, are you a fool, or kono serifu karakao? Or are you like saying teasing? That was like a bit of broken Japanese I said there. Karakao is tease. Like teasing somebody. Like the title of the anime, Karakao Jozu no Takagi-san. Skill teaser Takagi-san. All I can do is tilt my head in confusion, unsure why she's blushing or what she means. Main character is definitely an earhead. Know what his favorite snack is. Earheads. 1 month has passed since then. Madoka and I are living quiet life, working at the Yuki-Yoen. Oh, because I guess they live there too, right? Maybe. I know some places have like live-in situations. You live there and work. So if they're working at the hotel, the Japanese style hotel, what's it called? The ryokan, I think. That style. Or Yuki-Yoen, yeah. What's the difference? What's the difference between a ryokan and a Yuki-Yoen? Yuki-Yoen. Let's see. The Ryuken and the Yuki-Yoen. I think it's called a ryokan. Unless the Yuki-Yoen is just ryokan, my mistake. It's not called a ryokan, it's a ryokan. I forgot. My mistake. So is Yuki-Yoen just the name of the place, or? Maybe it's just the name of the place, I don't know. Madoka are living a quiet life working there. 10. I finished cleaning out the front. Where should I clean next? Oh, that's not cleaning for now. Perhaps you could give her a hand instead. Through a wry smile, he glances over towards Madoka. He's trying to like get them together. I mean, he's not forcing it because they were already friends, especially after him helping her out with that situation and they had a spark developing there. He's just like trying to aid in that. We have a lot of group bookings today. It doesn't look like she'll be able to take care of them all herself. Oh, they give her a blinking animation. That's cool. Got it. Okata. I'll be honest, I might like Madoka's route. Maybe it's recency bias, but I might like Madoka's route more than Akane's. Akane's route was good. I don't know if I got the good ending for it or the normal ending. By the way, Ariel, it's your day off tomorrow, isn't it? Yep, Madoka and I are thinking of going to Kiyomizu-dera. Although it's been a month since I officially started living in Japan, the streets of Kyoto are so complex that I still haven't completely memorized them. And so on our days off, Madoka takes me around various places to help me learn. Seem to have become rather close lately. I don't have any children of my own, so it would make me happy to pass them on to you two. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Oh, he doesn't have any children. That's why he thinks of the main dude as like a grandson. Oh, that's actually really nice. He's like, you know, I think of you like you're the grandchild of an old close friend of mine. You know, I think of you like a grandchild. I didn't have any children of my own, so I want to pass. And I do want to pass my in on to someone. Maybe I pass it to you. That's very nice. Damn. Okay, so we're definitely getting the good ending with Madoka. With Akane, I don't know if we got the good ending or the neutral ending, though. I think we got the good ending. Because Even if it was the neutral ending, I imagine they end up together. Anyways. Ken! Madoka and I, we're not like that. Yes? Hi? Watashi wa yobimashita. It's like, did you call for me? Watashi wa... What? As for me? Watashi, I, wa, marks the topic. Could also mean as for, so as for me. But, not get into that. Watashi wa yobimashita. Yobu is to call, so yobimashita. Called. Watashi wa yobimashita. Did you call for me? That's what she said. She cocks her head at me, apparently having overheard her name. Never mind. It's nothing. Let's get these guests to their rooms. Eh? Okay. She looks confused, but goes back to the guests with me. Oh, you must be the foreigner who works here. My friend stayed here the other day and gushed about how wonderful and polite you are. Arigato gozaimasu. I'm still new to Japan, but everyone's treating me very well. Seems that having a foreigner like me working at a traditional Japanese inn is quite rare, and I've become quite a talking point on the web. It was nice to see comments like I was attended to by a lovely foreign man. At one point I was thinking about going home, but I'm glad I chose to stay in Japan. Also, I'm planning on confessing my feelings to MADOKA tomorrow at Kiyomizu-dera. I actually wanted to tell her earlier, but not wanting to look like I was trying to take advantage of her, I decided to wait a bit. So you waited a good month. It's been a month, so now should be the right time. And if she says yes, I'd like to introduce her to my family back home too. Okay, that's a bit quick. That's a bit quick. Introducing her to the family, like, if it happens naturally where you just end up seeing each other and running into each other, that's one thing. But if it's more like I'm going to fly her overseas to meet my family, that's like a bit much. No, a month is too soon. Try 4 or 5 months at least. As my mind gets ahead of itself, I can't stop thinking about tomorrow unless you naturally meet them, right? Going to the same event or bumping into them or something like that. Alright, shall we show the guests to their rooms now? She has a nice smile. I like how they drew it. And I like the lighting for this scene. I am an artist. Again, I make my own merch, metal posters, shirts, mouse pads, pillowcases, custom orders on my website. I drew my own live 2D model. I am an illustrator. I also rigged and animated it myself, so I did the animations, like crying and whatever else. So as an artist, I do have an appreciation for these things. Like, I like the whole color palette of her kimono. It's very nice. It really does go well. The green with the red ribbon and the pink, the red and blue dress there. The yellow goes well with the blue. A nice color palette. And the way she's drawn it, like, they give her like a nice soft smile there. Do really like it. Well done. The art style for this visual novel is obviously masterfully done, though it's not really my style for like my cup of tea for what I like. But even if it's not my cup of tea, I can acknowledge and appreciate the masterfulness of it. But this scene, I really like how they did her smile. Kyoto colorful days. I think I skipped like a line or two of dialogue at the end, but it ends with him going to confess to her, and it's implied that they end up together. That's awesome. That's cool. Let's hear the song. I really liked this. I'll talk about it briefly. I wonder what time it is. Streamed for about 3.5 hours. But I was talking, at least like 50 minutes was just me talking. Nice song. Art is done really well. Well, I noticed my model is a little... Oh, it's because of OBS. There, fixed. Okay, so I will talk about the game a bit. What I liked, what I didn't like for the stories. So yeah. Thank you for playing. Sorry, my headphones rubbed the mic because I had to lean to press the screenshot key. That's awesome. Okay, I did like this. I wish I could have played it with the Japanese subtitles, but to do that, I think I would need to be like probably high tier intermediate level to do it, or around that. I'm like high tier novice to low tier intermediate, so it's too hard. Though it's good to challenge things a bit outside of your level, but I think this is a bit too outside for my level. But yeah, I really liked it. I like the art style isn't my cup of tea, but that doesn't make it bad. Like, it's masterfully done, not my cup of tea. But the art style masterfully done. That music is great. I really like it. It's cool that there's like animated parts of it. There was only a few little like mistakes in the English translation and like grammar, but not much. And the MC is definitely kind of a baka. このメインキャラクターはバカですね。悪い頭ね。Yeah. I don't know what else I want to talk about. I liked Akane's route. I liked the story for it. It was really cool. I liked Madoka's route as well. I liked Madoka's route more than Akane's route. I'll be honest. Like, I liked Madoka's route more, which surprised me a little that I did. But I liked the story. It's not like super complicated. It's a bit simple, but it's well done. I did learn some stuff about Kyoto. It's a cool little tour guide visual novel. I liked the color palette of the art style, even though it's not my cup of tea. I liked the color palette of it and the expressions. The voice acting was greatly done. I think I've heard Madoka's voice actor somewhere before, but I'm not sure where. Like, I can't remember where I've heard her, but I think I've heard her somewhere else. And it's a really good visual novel. It's pretty short. Would I replay it in the future? Possibly. Like, I think I would replay it. But it wouldn't be for a while. Not until like my Japanese is close to advanced level. That way I can go through it without too much difficulty. The voice acting coupled helps too. So that was nice. I really liked it. Got the gallery, got the little bonuses. That's so cute. Got the Madoka and Akane. Oh, they blink? Oh, cool. So got that. Got another one. That's nice. Little bonus things. Nicely done. I liked it. I don't know how much this game is. It took longer to go through because of streaming it, but I'm glad to stream it because I am an extrovert and I get more energetic when I stream and stuff. So yeah, because I am predominantly an extrovert, so streaming energizes me. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Like, the art's not my cup of tea, but it's masterfully done. The voice acting is great. The story in its simplicity is well done. It doesn't go too complex. The characters are likable, even though the main character is... Atama is a bit... Nakanaka... Wari ne. Kinda bad. His head's kinda bad. He's kind of an airhead. But yeah, I would definitely replay it. I think it's definitely worth buying. And maybe on sale. Because for most people, they go through the game in like 4 to 5 hours. Apparently. For the both Madoka and Akane's routes. I don't know if that's for all of them or just those two. For like the good ones, but... So it's not a lot of gameplay. I would get it on sale and it's definitely worth it. So, I don't know how much I bought it for. I think I bought it for like... I can't remember if it was like $10 or... How much did I spend? I might have gotten it for... Actually, I want to check. Let's see. Can you actually check how much you spent on something? Oh, you can. I wonder how much I spent on it. Can I check this? Can I search it? Kyoto Colorful Days. Oh, I bought it as like a pack, I think. I think I bought it with like other things. Or did I just buy different things together? Oh, I got it for cheap. I got it for like $1.23. Holy crap, that's like definitely worth it. I would say this game is definitely worth more than that. Like, it's not a long game. It's pretty short. But I think it's worth like a $10. Like, I bought it on sale for like $1.23. I didn't even realize I got it that cheap. But I think it's definitely worth it. How much does it sell for? By the way, though, I always buy games on sale. I never buy full price. So it's usually $11. I would get it on sale if it's like $7, $8. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I would replay it too in the future. Did like it. Definitely liked it. Think it was really good. Anyways, I will thank anyone who watched the stream, who popped in, who lurked, or anything of the sort. I am going to talk about my model a bit and plans. We are going to stream tomorrow, just so anyone knows. So we will be streaming Yotsuba. So Yotsuba, tomorrow we're going to do a Japanese study along stream with that manga. Yotsuba is a manga that is aimed at novices, usually upper tier novice to lower intermediate. Though if you're mid-tier novice, that's fine. I know some people will say, oh, but Yotsuba is not for beginners unless you're following it along with a guide. And what I'm doing is trying to, like, with the study along, I also break down parts of it. But people seem to not understand, and I've mentioned this before, with mangas, just because there's pictures, that doesn't mean it's for beginners. Like, I've seen someone on an online forum say, Yotsuba has pictures to it, it's great for beginners. It's like, no, it's not. It's not for an absolute beginner. Like, to make something clear, I have a Japanese study book, right? It's level 2, which is equivalent of JLPT N4, right? Which is novice level, right? It has short stories. The stories are 2 to 3 pages. There are no pictures in it. There are 0 pictures in it. But grammatically and structurally, it's about novice level. That book is easier for me than the Yotsuba manga. It's easier because the Yotsuba manga has one character speaking very formally, one speaking casually, one speaking super casually. It's a bit harder grammatically and structurally. Like, just because it has pictures doesn't mean it's easy. And if you're going to learn a language, you cannot just sentence mine. I bring up an example of my nephew, who is a baby. As he is learning words, he learns them in the context of sentences related to images and videos and stuff he sees, yes, but he's learning the individual makeup of the words. You can't just learn the sentence. You have to learn what comprises the sentence. These things go hand in hand. Otherwise, you're just going to be saying a bunch of things you don't understand and using them incorrectly. I mean, at that point, you're just doing rote memorization, which is inefficient too. But yeah, the two things go hand in hand. They're not opposed. You learn sentences, but you learn what comprises the sentences. The sentence's purpose is to put the words into a context. That's the purpose. And then if you couple that with mnemonics, which is a story associated with it, or imagery and videos, and that helps solidify it in your memory much easier for the long term. But anyways, we're going to read Yotsuba in Japanese tomorrow. We'll be doing a study along stream with that about 5:45 p.m. EST. I will also be putting out a video this week, Thursday or Friday. It might be on the Sunday, but probably Thursday or Friday. It will be a video on how to go about learning a language. The longer video will be 5 to 10 minutes. I will also talk about free and paid resources one can use, more particularly and specifically to Japanese. And I will also be talking about free resources in a short. So that'll be the longer video. The short video will just gloss over those points very quickly and talk just about the free resources that one can use, which are good resources, but they are flawed. The free resources are good, but they have flaws. And so how to go about learning a language. Am I fluent in Japanese? No. But I know how to learn a language. I taught myself in the past how to read modern and biblical Greek fluently, to the point of people being surprised when I told them I'm not Greek and I would read in public. And Greek people were surprised. And, I'm probably upper novice level for Japanese, but I'm progressing quickly. Not just because of the amount of time I put into the studying, but also not just because of the quantity of time, but the quality of it. Ergo, I know how to study, right? Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You need to know how to study, right? And there's a way to go about learning things. Anyways, my throat's really dry right now, so I'm going to stop talking just now, but that video will be out on like Thursday or Friday. My throat is so dry, holy crap. I sound like a goddamn old man, what the frick. Anyways. Sorry. That video will be out on the Thursday or Friday, and then tomorrow, like I said, we're going to stream Yotsuba, and we'll find a new game to go to. There's a game I want to try that's supposed to be popular. It's like a action game. It's only like an hour long or 2 hours long, though. It's very short. So we'll play that maybe next week, and then we'll figure out another game to go to. I do want to try to do another visual novel, but we'll figure out like what to do. So next week there will not be a visual novel because I'm just gonna play some other game that's a bit short, just to try that out, and then yeah, figure out what visual novel to play because I have a few visual novels. Though again, I'm not sure what. But we'll figure something out. Play a visual novel or something else. I would like to continue regularly streaming visual novel games. Actually, that would be nice. But we'll see, we'll see. Also, God of War Ragnarok is coming out. Oh man, I want to play that. I want to play it in Greek, but my Greek was pretty bad. I stopped learning Greek just because, even though I taught myself to read it fluently, in terms of just the reading of it, but I had no one to like practice with and to speak to and stuff, so I lost interest because of that. And there's not many resources for learning Greek. I'll probably pick Greek up again, but I've wanted to learn Japanese much longer than Greek, and I've already started getting serious about it the past few months. So yeah, I want to reach at least advanced level for Japanese. Not where I'm fluent, but where I can pass for being fluent, and I can handle like animes and mangas without a problem, and novels and visual novels with little difficulty. Then I'd probably be like, okay, let's learn Greek. I'm not interested in a lot of languages. Japanese, Greek, sure. Maybe I would be interested in learning German, but I'm not that interested in it. And no other language, just those three. Right? That's it. But for now, Japanese first and foremost, and yeah. Anyways, I'll see anyone at tomorrow's stream. You can check out my links below. My website is up and running. I only ship to Canada right now, but yeah, here's my art. Here's my model art, rigging, live 2D, all by me. Everything by me. The animations, the waving, the crying, all combined. Can go forever. The crying one. Wings, everything by me. I am an illustrator. Check out my art socials below if you would like. And I have my own merch site where I make my own merch. I not only draw, but I literally imbue the images into metal posters myself, and t-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and mouse pads and pillowcases, and I can do like all of that stuff. I taught myself how to do all of it. I can do all of that stuff. So you can check out my merch below. It features my own artwork. If anyone would ever want to work together related to that, I don't mind. I'm open to it. Send me an email. If you're interested in an art commission for an illustration, please do send me an email. And yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about. I will link the manga I was working on as well. I submitted it for that contest. Hopefully Metabang Art Street clears up the issue related to their glitch on their website not allowing, because I submitted artwork. I submitted manga because it was like a trailer-esque type of manga for a story I plan on doing, right? So it's a short one shot meant to be like a trailer sort of in that style for that. And I only got the rough for it done, but one full illustration part of it. And I submitted it, but for some reason it's not showing up under the art tag for the contest, even though I submitted it on time and their website was glitching. So I emailed them about that. Hopefully they clear that up and my thing is part of it. I want to share the manga artwork, but because it's only the rough of it, I might wait until I can do the shading, which should be done this week. But if it goes into next week, it goes into next week. That's fine. I'll think about sharing it either now or sharing it once I do it. So, yeah. Anyways, See anyone at tomorrow's stream. Peace. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss anything. You can share. That would help out a lot too. I mentioned these things because, like most people do, for the reason that most people who watch don't subscribe or don't like. I think 90% of people or more who watch my channel are not actually subscribed. So that's why I mention it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Peace and bye. I'll show some. Eye physics. The eyes are two different eyes with two different sets of physics done by me. Yeah. Anyways, thanks and bye.